It's Wednesday, February 11th. Today, a long-awaited inquiry begins. What the first witness had to say on the first day of a probe into the construction of the city's police headquarters. Also today, how students from one Winnipeg high school are pushing back after being told to keep their bags inside their lockers. And Winnipeggers with Cuban connections. A family is calling for change amid worsening energy crisis and travel disruptions on the island. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Winnipeg. Happy Wednesday. We are in the middle of the week. We are halfway there, and Ainsley McPhail has a really fun live today. Chow Dine About Winnipeg is back on. It's sort of an opportunity to visit different restaurants that you might never have gone to before and tasting some really delicious food for a reduced price. And there's like a plan for the dinner, and then there's one for the lunchtime as well. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that. She's at Peasant Cookery this morning. But the weather was really not too bad last night.
No, not too bad. I mean, it was a return to seasonal temperatures, which we were on this bit of a mild trend, so it did perhaps feel a little bit colder, and you're going to notice that still this morning as we're coming in at minus 16. Now, that's the actual temperature. You factor in a breeze on top of that. It's just a 7K wind out of the southeast, but it makes it feel like minus 21. The pressure is rising. The humidity is sitting at 87%. Now, it will be warming up today. While we're close to seasonal temperatures to begin, we're going to be soaring well above those seasonal temperatures as the day goes on. As far as the conditions go, just a few clouds. We might see some clearing, but as it clears, we might also notice some fog developing. So it might still look a little bit gray. That will be fog. Behind that fog will be some sunshine, which if you're patient, we should see some of that later on into the day. There you can see it clearing out a little bit. And then maybe a few extra clouds hanging around for tomorrow. A little bit of precipitation could be moving across parts of northern Manitoba. That'll certainly take you throughout the day tomorrow. We're not likely to see much in the way of precipitation, but I mentioned the possibility of some foggy conditions. So I'll remind you again that that is the icon that you're seeing there, where it's just lines. Lines is fog. Okay, so minus 4, taking a look at these temperatures now, well above seasonal. Minus 9, that would be a normal daytime high, so we're going beyond it today and then staying closer to the freezing mark, maybe even pushing into plus digits. Those mild temperatures continue right into the start of next week.
Thank you, Terry. A long-awaited inquiry into the purchase and construction of the Winnipeg Police Headquarters project got underway Tuesday. The inquiry is examining the dealings of previous city officials, including former Mayor Sam Cates and former city CAO Phil Schiegel. This official scrutiny comes after cost overruns and a civil court judge who ruled in a 2022 Schiegel took a bribe. CTV's Jeff Keel has the details on what happened on day one.
Day one of the Winnipeg Police Headquarters project inquiry heard about risky bid contract changes prior to construction that were not business as usual.
Good morning, everyone. I now call this public inquiry to order.
The $135 million project to buy and renovate the former Canada Post building ended up costing $214 million. Decade-old court documents filed by RCMP allege the city was the victim of a multi-million-dollar fraud. The first witness at the inquiry was Barb Davignon, the city's 36-year manager of purchasing. She was asked about an amendment in early 2011 that reduced a performance bond from $40 million to $25 million for the $80 million construction bid on the project.
In your 35 years working with the city, have you ever seen a bond that's $25 million for what's proposed to be an $80 million contract? Is that usual, unusual? Common, seen it before, never seen it again?
Never seen it before, and I've never seen it again.
These bonds are like collateral required by the city to ensure a project is completed. If not, they can cash it in. Davignon wrote a risk assessment back then, stating $25 million was considered too low to cover off in case of serious default in the work. A civil court judge concluded in 2022 that former city CAO Phil Schiegel accepted a $327,000 bribe from Caspian Construction, the project's general contractor. Caspian's lawyer, George Orrell, pointed out to Davignon she told RCMP Schiegel's intent was to lower the bond to get smaller companies into the bid process.
It wasn't lowered specifically for Caspian. That was part of the proposal. Anyone who wanted to take advantage of that lower amount could do that.
Correct.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
All eyes will be on the witness scheduled to testify as early as Thursday. That's when former Mayor Sam Cates is scheduled to appear before the inquiry. An inquest into the death of 16-year-old Aisha Hudson has heard from one of the youth who was in the vehicle with her when she was fatally shot by police. He was under 18 at the time and cannot be identified. He told the inquest he was under the influence of drugs and alcohol at the time and couldn't remember many details. The teen testified Hudson panicked when she realized police officers pardon me, were following the Jeep after a liquor store robbery. He said he remembers crashing into a parked truck and waking up at the police station where his lawyer told him Hudson had died. The inquest has heard Hudson was driving the vehicle and that some people she was with went into a store, took bottles and cases of liquor, and threatened to stab a security guard. The inquest is examining whether the use of force was appropriate and if systemic racism played a role because the robbery suspects were identified as Indigenous. A community and the country are still coming to grips with an unimaginable tragedy in northern BC, where at least 9 people were killed in a mass shooting.
We are not in a place now to be able to understand why and what may have motivated this tragedy. This was a rapidly evolving and dynamic situation, and the swift cooperation from the school, first responders, and the community played a critical role in our response.
It happened in the town of Tumbler Ridge, northeast of Prince George. 7 of the 9 victims were found inside the local high school. 2 more victims were found dead in a nearby home. The suspected shooter was also found dead at the school, suffering from self-inflicted injuries, and several others were hurt. An emergency alert urging residents to shelter in place was lifted last night, and police don't believe there is an ongoing threat to the public. Both the elementary school and high school in the community will be closed for the rest of the week. The mass shooting has prompted a wave of condolences from across the country, including from Prime Minister Mark Carney. In a statement last night, Carney said he is devastated by the horrific shootings in Tumbler Ridge and joins Canadians in grieving with those whose lives have been changed irreversibly today. Carney has since suspended his plans to travel to Halifax. He was expected to announce his government's long-awaited defense industrial strategy before flying on to Germany to attend the Munich Security Conference. His office says he's postponing the announcement and suspending his overseas trip, quote, for the time being. Manitoba RCMP and officials at Stony Mountain Institution have foiled a plot to smuggle more than $500,000 worth of drugs into the prison. RCMP say around 1 in the morning Sunday, a drone dropped off a package suspected to be drugs. Officers were nearby and spotted a vehicle. It was pulled over, and the officers later found a drone at the feet of the male passenger. Officers seized a quantity of meth, cocaine, tobacco, and cannabis concentrate believed to be worth $600,000 inside the prison. A 28-year-old Calgary man is charged with 2 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking. If you're planning to fly to Atlanta or Nashville directly from Winnipeg, you'll soon be out of luck. WestJet is suspending services to the 2 destinations. A spokesperson for the airline tells CTV the move is due to a notable decline in cross-border travel demand last year. It also notes there's been a 15% reduction in historically peak travel times to the U.S. Meantime, WestJet will also seasonally suspend flights from Winnipeg to Orlando. CTV News has inquired when this service will officially come to an end, but we haven't yet received a response. A palace in the heart of Rome is just steps from the city's busiest sites, but it's not particularly busy itself.
It's crazy. It's like a hidden gem in the middle of Rome. We're right next to Piazza Navona, and there's 2 people in the museum with us, so it's a beautiful break, a beautiful parenthesis in the heart of the city.
The Palazzo al Temps was once a mansion belonging to a wealthy Roman family. It's now a museum of Roman antiquities. Tourists can explore the large rooms away from the crowds that occupy every other major site in Rome. It looks lovely. Here's a look at what's happening right now on the Norwood Bridge. Barely anyone on this road at this point. As you can see, things are moving quite well. If you see any issues out on the streets, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning at the Peasant Cookery Restaurant. And Chow Dine About Winnipeg is back for the year. Good morning.
Good morning. About 10 after 6 a.m., the perfect time to talk about a full course meal. That's awesome. Dine About Winnipeg happens about this time every single year with Chow magazine, of course, and it offers everything from fine dining to casual spots around the city. So, for instance, the Peasant Cookery is going to be taking us into their kitchen to show us some of the lunch options. Everything from a pastrami sandwich to mussels and even a sweet treat too. We're going to be seeing a chef come in from Jamaica, which is another one of the options, and the chef is going to be preparing, I'm not exactly sure of the dish, and I probably can't cook it myself. There are fixed different options as well, so there's different price points depending on what you're into, and it gets people out of the house, especially at this time of year when things are a little bit chilly and they aren't going to restaurants as much, so you're supporting local businesses to boot.
Yeah, and it's always great, all the different options that are out there as well. Thank you, Ainsley. We're going to check in a little later. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a cool start today.
It is a cool start today. You're right about that. Although cool being seasonal, maybe even slightly above. So I know I was thinking that too. I'm like, ooh, we got a little bit spoiled. And it's funny how short of a time it took to adjust and get spoiled, because we spent most of January with those well below seasonal temperatures, and then yes, it did warm up and it was a very nice and pleasant change, but then it dipped off only briefly. We're on the rise again. We're going to be back up to those above seasonal temperatures later on this afternoon, but starting out at -16. Now even that is still technically above seasonal. -19 would be a normal low for this time of year, so we are a few above that. South winds, they're on the lighter side, 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 87%. But for the last couple of days, I was able to reach for the slightly lighter coat and back to the parka again this morning. Not mad about that choice. You're going to want to bundle up, especially through these morning hours. It's not like we're going to be dealing with a strong wind by any means. It should stay light to moderate, but the temperatures themselves are feeling a little bit cool, at least for now. That warm up, though, it will come later on this afternoon. These temperatures climbing a lot closer to the freezing mark than you might expect this time of year. A normal high would be -9. We'll probably top out at about -4 later on today. And then we're going to stay with those well above seasonal temps lasting through the rest of the week. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Strictly Amish, exclusively in Arborg, Manitoba.
Good morning. A backpack policy change is proving controversial inside one Winnipeg high school. Students at Sturgeon Heights Collegiate are being told to leave their backpacks in their lockers to prevent tripping hazards in classrooms. But some students are pushing back against the backpack ban. CTV's Danton Unger explains.
The backpack, it's a quintessential part of the high school experience, unless you're a student at Sturgeon Heights Collegiate.
It sucks because I have 3 binders that I need to carry, and I just can't carry all of them at once.
Earlier this week, students say they were told they're no longer allowed to bring backpacks with them to class due to safety concerns.
The principal said the reason was a safety hazard because of having them, like, you know, the straps sticking out from underneath our desk or something, so it could trip somebody.
But that isn't sitting well with these students.
It's unreasonable, and there's no problems with the backpacks in the classrooms in the first place.
I don't think it's smart.
And I wasn't really happy about it because I like to carry my personal items around with me.
The frustration led some to launch this petition online, gaining more than 400 signatures so far, with some students writing out their disdain for the so-called backpack ban in typical teenage fashion. "This is bunk," one student wrote, while another says, "This rule is so buns." That means bad, by the way. In a statement to CTV News, the school's principal, George Valentine, says the change is a return to a pre-pandemic practice. In the COVID days, students weren't assigned lockers and instead had to carry their belongings with them to class. Now, staff are encouraging them to leave their jackets and backpacks in their lockers. While we appreciate student concerns regarding locker use, our efforts are geared towards creating a safe, organized, and distraction-free learning environment. Valentine adds that purses, fanny packs, and other compact bags used to store essential belongings are allowed, as long as they don't clutter or block walkways.
To be honest, I've gotten used to just carrying one binder around.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
24 community centers are receiving money from the city for renovations.
The goal is simple: to ensure that these centres remain accessible, safe, and ready to serve their community.
The city-owned, board-run community centres are being given grants totaling more than $1.8 million from the City of Winnipeg's Community Centre Renovation Grant Program. The money will be used for facility repairs, upgrades, retrofits, safety improvements, and renovations. It will see improvements made to the rinks, lighting, and skate room at Tyndall Park, Winaqua, Fort Garry, and Borkville community centres, as well as security upgrades to Norquay's Recreation Committee.
These are practical investments with real impact. They help ensure that community centres continue to bring people together today and for the years to come.
Winnipeg has 63 city-owned community centres in 81 locations and 130 outdoor rinks. The city has invested $20.3 million in community centre renovations through the program since 2012. There's still uncertainty about the new link between Windsor and Detroit. As we learn, the family that operates the existing Ambassador Bridge met with U.S. officials before Trump's threats.
The Maroons are the only party that benefits from delaying the bridge. They make a lot more money at the expense of Canadian and American consumers and everyone else.
According to the New York Times, Matthew Morin, whose family has operated the Ambassador Bridge between Windsor and Detroit for decades, met with U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick just hours before Trump threatened to block the opening of the nearby Gordie Howe International Bridge. The Morin family has already made numerous efforts to stop the construction of another bridge. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mark Carney says he cleared things up during a phone call with the U.S. president. Carney said he told Trump that Canada paid more than $4 billion for the bridge's construction and that ownership is shared with the state of Michigan. That state's governor is also pushing back against Trump's threats, saying the crossing is an important part of the U.S. economy. Police in Arizona have released a man detained for questioning in the search for Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie.
Eventually, they will confront him with images of that person on the porch.
This person was detained just hours after the FBI released doorbell camera footage from outside Nancy Guthrie's home the night she disappeared. The video shows a masked person carrying a gun and a backpack as he tries to block the camera. At this point, it's not clear if the person detained is the same person in this footage. He was detained in a traffic stop an hour south of Tucson. Law enforcement says they've executed a search warrant at a home and also searched a car. He hasn't been charged. A heartbreaking loss for Canada's women's hockey team in the group stage at the Winter Games in Italy. Arch rival Team USA shut out the Canadians with a dominant 5-0 win, handing them their first loss of the tournament. Canada took to the ice Tuesday without captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, sidelined with an injury. This morning's medal count shows Canada in 13th spot with 1 silver and 2 bronze medals. Norway leads the pack with a total of 12 medals. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound median and curb lanes on Carlton Street will be closed from Ellis to Graham Avenue. The westbound curb lane on College Avenue will be closed between Arlington and Sinclair Street. And following the rush, the eastbound curb lane on Notre Dame Avenue will be closed from King Edward to Keewatin Street. If you have any other traffic tips, text them to us, please, at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
A look now through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. So it is feeling a little bit cool out there this morning, only comparatively so, because where we've been sitting the past couple of days has been so mild from the weekend right into the start of the week, above seasonal temperatures. And then last night they dipped pretty low. They actually dipped to -19, but we have already made some gains. Now sitting at -16 here in Winnipeg. Slightly milder temperatures in areas off to the west of us. Just to the north of us, we've got Gimli coming in at -20, and those mid to high -teens through the rest of central, pushing up into northern Manitoba. Then, of course, there's Churchill, feeling the chill for all of us, -30, and suddenly we can't really complain about -16 so much, especially when that comes with a -39 wind chill value. Bundle up, all of the layers required. Although even here in Winnipeg, it's feeling like -21, so you will want those extra layers. Myself, I chose the parka this morning as opposed to my lighter winter coat coat. I'll probably be back to the lighter layers for tomorrow and beyond because the temperatures will be on the rise. In fact, even this afternoon, they'll be on the rise. A look at the satellite image right now, just a few clouds. There's some clearer patches to the east and to the west of us, but there's also a little bit of a snowier patch just to the north of Winnipeg right now. Maybe some scattered flurries could be arriving for some. We're likely to actually experience a little bit of fog developing this morning. -12 as kids get settled into the classroom. -7, sunshine returning through the midday and into the afternoon. Our expected high of -4. That does put us above seasonal. -9, normal for this time of year. And then after today, all of our temperatures, both the daytime highs and the overnight lows, remain well above seasonal, with -9 being that normal daytime high, and even our overnight lows are there or above, with those daytime highs pushing a lot closer to the freezing mark. There is a good chance that we'll be dealing with a little bit of fog throughout this week. But a reminder that we do like our wintertime activities. This picture taken out in Nassissippi, thanks to Terry for the photo. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Good morning. A group of Buddhist monks completed a 15-week walk for peace, reaching Washington, D.C. yesterday morning. The monks began their walk in Texas more than 3 months ago, at times braving frigid winter temperatures and sometimes with bare feet, to raise awareness of peace, loving kindness, and compassion. Their movement has captivated the country, with millions following along online and crowds greeting them along the way. A spokesperson says the walk is not political and an invitation to breathe peace into everyday actions. Students in East Vancouver got to cheer on Canada's women's hockey team alongside some of their pro teammates.
I think it's important for these kids to hear not only who we are as players, but who we are as people as well.
Kate Chen and Melissa Channel Watkins of the Vancouver Golden Eyes went out to an elementary school for Monday's Canada-Czechia game. The students also got to play some floor hockey with them and take part in a Q&A. 5 of their Golden Eyes teammates are representing Canada in Milano Cortina. A family with a toddler diagnosed with cerebral palsy is paying more than $25,000 a year for several therapies. But the little boy's loved ones have found a way to help. CTV's Kevin Fleming explains.
This is Beckett, who's enrolled in a 2-week therapy intensive program at the Canadian Centre for Development. At just 8 months old, he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
Beckett was born in 2023 with a brain injury known as hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy. It's a mouthful, so most people call it HIE. Basically, it's permanent brain damage to certain parts of his brain that control motor.
Chantel Moreau says the cost is $4,800 for 2 weeks, and her son will revisit this therapy 4 times a year.
And then also there's weekly physio that we try to keep up. We take some breaks throughout the year, obviously, because he deserves that too, but we do regular therapy, so that's also additional. So probably all in, it's at least $25,000 for physio a year, probably more.
Melanie Moreau and her aunt Suzanne are the co-founders of the Little B Gallery.
He's the heartbeat of the whole gallery. Little B was his nickname after he was born. We started calling him Little B, so Little B Gallery was just a natural name for it.
They've created dozens of paintings over the last 15 months and sell them online. 100% of the proceeds go to Beckett's therapy, and they raised enough money in that time to cover all his costs for 2024 and 2025.
We have an artist from PEI who found us on Instagram, was like, I have some paintings of mountains, they're not going to sell in PEI, can I get them to you for the gallery to support Beckett? And she doesn't know Beckett, she'll probably never meet Beckett, but it was a story that moved her.
Chantel is overwhelmed by the support from family and complete strangers. She says the therapy will help Beckett get stronger and more independent.
We would be doing it anyway, but to know that it doesn't have to be one more stress on top of everything else it's life-changing for us and for Beckett.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
We have a traffic alert to tell you about. The traffic signals are flashing red for all directions on Nairn Avenue in Panet, so please treat it as an all-way stop and proceed with caution. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
minus 16 this morning. It was minus 19, which, by the way, is normal for this time of year, but we've already made some gains from those coldest temperatures earlier this morning. Though it does feel more like minus 22 once you're factoring in that wind out of the south. It's only 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 87%. Pretty clear conditions so far this morning. We might see a few more clouds building up at times through the day. Also, a little bit of flurry activity in areas just to the north of us, and you might see some of that scattered across central northern Manitoba. We could see a little bit of fog developing over the course of the morning, but then through the afternoon, enjoying some sunshine and mild temperatures. While we had dipped to seasonal values in the overnight hours, we're going to rise well beyond what is normal for this time of year, with minus 9 being that normal daytime high. We're headed instead to minus 4, and then staying very mild even with the overnight lows this coming night, dropping down to minus 7. Pretty clear conditions, just a few clouds here or there, and light to moderate winds out of the south at about 20 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, again, enjoying some sunshine, maybe a few extra clouds tomorrow. We'll see. Minus 1 our expected high, though. Temperatures on the rise even more so, and from there we're going to hover right around the freezing mark, maybe even at times pushing into the plus digits. Now, there is the possibility of some foggy conditions later on this week, so I will remind you that all of the lines that you're seeing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that is the icon that we now use to depict fog. Anyway, the mild temperatures, they're going to be lasting right into the start of next week.
A Winnipeg family with strong connections to Cuba is sounding the alarm about a rapidly worsening energy crisis on the island. Rolling blackouts, transportation shutdowns, and flight cancellations have left loved ones struggling and tourists stranded.
Like now, in this moment, it's no transportation. It's hard, everything to go to work, and it's really bad in all the ways to cook because you don't have powers.
Political pressure from the White House has severed Cuba from its main petroleum sources in Mexico and Venezuela. That's made aviation fuel, gas, and diesel increasingly scarce. Luis Escalona immigrated to Canada from Cuba in 2015. His parents and siblings still live on the island, and ongoing power shortages often make communication difficult or impossible. He and his wife had been scheduled to visit Cuba in March, but their flight has been canceled. Friends staying in resorts there already are wondering what's next.
Some of them are upset because they paid to be there until the end of March and they don't want to come home. It's a mixture of feelings. Some people do want to come home. Some people are fine right where they are.
Monique Beliveau and Escalona say they're hopeful this crisis will pass quickly and life on the island will return to normal. The City of Winnipeg is proposing to crack down on what it calls nuisance demonstrations.
What this is about us as a city making sure that we respect people's right to protest and to rally, but at the same time, we have to make sure that the spaces, that people frequent on a regular basis are also protected.
The proposed safe access to vulnerable infrastructure bylaw sets limits on how close protests can be held to buildings like places of worship, schools, and daycares. It also sets fines for breaking the rules, including intimidation of people accessing these places. The fines start at $500 for the first offense and escalate to $5,000.
There's a way for all of us, I think, to kind of coexist, allowing people to maintain their right to rally and to protest. But at the same time, I think it's very reasonable that you shouldn't be subjected to anything that people may feel would be intimidating when they're trying to access the place that they're going to.
The city says the Executive Policy Committee will recommend the bylaw at its February 17th meeting before sending it to Council February 26th. A Manitoba police station in northern Manitoba has come under fire. Early Tuesday, it was the target of a drive-by shooting. It happened at the Fisher River Detachment of the Manitoba First Nations Police Service. Police say an ATV pulled up to the detachment and people fired numerous shots at the building. Both the building and police vehicles parked on site were hit. 2 officers who were inside at the time of the shooting were unharmed. Investigators believe the police detachment was targeted and there's no threat to the larger community. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. A new report suggests the housing market in Canada is being dragged down by economic uncertainty. The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation forecasts higher building costs, fewer new homes built, and more existing units left unsold. Closer to home, the report suggests the resale market in Winnipeg will remain elevated in 2026, driven by population growth and improved borrowing capacity. It says sales will moderate afterwards as pent-up demand decreases. It also expects the rental market to soften as vacancies rise and rent growth slows. Reduced immigration through 2027 is expected to continue to push rental demand downwards. One of the more recent disputes between Canada and the U.S. could be nearing a resolution. The head of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration told reporters on Tuesday that he expects Canada to announce it's certifying Gulfstream jets later this week. This conflict began near the end of January. The U.S. president said his country would decertify some Canadian-made Bombardier jets and threatened 50% tariffs on all aircraft made in Canada unless Ottawa certified the Gulfstream planes. A Transport Canada spokesperson isn't commenting on the announcement, but says the agency continues to work with Gulfstream and the FAA on the certification of their aircraft. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington this morning for a White House meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. Netanyahu is expected to press Trump to expand U.S. talks with Iran around curbing their nuclear program and to address other security threats. Iran has said it won't limit uranium enrichment unless Western countries scale back sanctions, which are crippling their economy. Netanyahu has argued that Iran is a threat to Israel and has pushed the U.S. to curb their influence in the Middle East. A unique scene for you now that was caught on camera in Colorado. Police cameras spotted this man on his unicycle juggling flaming clubs in broad daylight, hoping for a little cash from drivers stopped at the intersection. Not only did he put on a memorable show, he also wrapped up his act in time for the green light. Incredible. Here's what's happening right now on McPhillip Street. Things are moving well over here, starting off this Wednesday morning. If you see any issues on the streets, please let us know. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.31. The provincial average is $1.22. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.21. And the lowest price in the city is $1.12. All this information is on GasBuddy.com. Coming up, we're learning all about Chow Dine About Winnipeg and the restaurants that are participating. Let's see what's cooking in the kitchen. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
All right, you'll notice they've got the parka on this morning. No messing around today. Not that it's shocking, but it is a return to what is normal for this time of year. Not any longer, but we had dipped as low as -19, and that is in fact a seasonal low. We've been on the rise over the course of the morning since midnight tonight when we were at -19. So we're now sitting at -16, and it feels like -22. That breeze is light. It should stay light to moderate today. At the moment, it's 8 clicks out of the south. The pressure is falling. The humidity is sitting at 87%. And we are looking at fairly clear conditions so far this morning. We will enjoy some sunshine then. That'll be rising at about 7:45 today, so rising a little bit sooner, setting a little bit later. As far as amounts of sunshine, certainly more so into the afternoon, but there is the possibility that we see some fog developing over the course of the morning and then becoming sunnier once that fog burns off. But either way, we're in for above seasonal temperatures with the mercury on the rise to about -4 this afternoon. -9 is a seasonal high, so we'll be surpassing that number and staying well beyond it through the rest of the week and the coming weekend. Let's head over to Ainsley now, see where she is and what's going on. Ainsley, what's happening?
Well, I'm going to quote my mom right now, Terry. You're more of a help or a hindrance than a help in the kitchen. We're talking about Dine About Winnipeg. And kitchens are small places, okay? So it's not my fault. This is the chef, Anna Demuskin. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about where we are and what we're doing.
So we're at Peasant Cookery in the heart of the Exchange, and we are making our moule frites, which is a rotating flavor we do on our menu, and it's featured on our Dine About menu as well.
So how does the Dine About menu work? There's just different options?
Yeah, there's 3 courses, appetizer, entree, and desserts. So you get a choice of a few different options, and our dessert menu currently for Dine About is going to be new items coming up on the dessert menu. So it's kind of a first chance to try them before it hits the actual menu.
And you're bringing a taste of PEI. Let's see.
So we've got PEI mussels cooking here. So they're just a few minutes away. We have it in a white wine cream broth with Italian sausage, artichoke, red onion, and a little bit of dry basil. And we have our moule frites frying up, or our frites for the moule frites frying up right now. Yeah.
How long are they supposed to be on there for?
Roughly 3 to 5 minutes, but as soon as they open, they're ready to eat. You don't want to cook them much further or else they're going to shrink and not be as plump and juicy.
And you rotate the sauces too?
Yeah, we rotate it. We try to do it weekly, so we bring in products specifically for a special mussel feature each time.
And if mussels aren't your thing, that's the beauty of Dine About Winnipeg. You're able to kind of pick and choose what you like.
Yeah, there's a Reuben available as well as an option during the Dine About lunch menu, as well as a burger, and there's something for everyone.
Okay, do we want to check on the frites? See.
So nice and crispy and golden. So we're gonna want to shake off the excess oil.
Obviously, I wore white today. What a brilliant thing to do for cooking segments.
Stay away from you. And then we're just gonna want to season them. Nice and crispy and toasty.
We'll take that into the break. Manja. See you guys later.
Here's a look at the early markets this morning. The Dow Jones added 52 points. The Nasdaq is 7 points up. The S&P index had small gains. The Canadian dollar rose to 74.4 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng bumped 83 points, and the Nikkei is 1,286 points higher. Good morning. It is 6:46. 2 people are facing charges after police raided a home in the Spence neighborhood and seized a significant stockpile of ammunition. Police say a drug trafficking investigation led officers to search an apartment in the 500 block of Maryland Street. There they found some 500 rounds of ammunition and drug paraphernalia. A spokesperson was unable to say what kind of ammo it was or where investigators think it may have come from. A 39-year-old man and 28-year-old woman were arrested on charges of careless storage of ammunition and possession of ammunition contrary to a prohibition order. The province is adjusting its timeline for adding sprinklers to all of Manitoba's healthcare facilities more than a month after missing its self-imposed deadline. The legislation requiring sprinklers in all of the province's 194 facilities was established in 2015 and had a targeted completion date of January the 1st, 2026. However, the province says the previous government pushed back the expected completion date without updating the regulations, which is what it's doing now. Presently, it says 117 facilities, which include personal care homes and hospitals, have full sprinkler coverage. 41 are expected to be compliant by the end of the current fiscal year, and the remainder will be completed by the end of 2028. The province says the work is complicated by the fact many of the buildings are older and must remain fully operational during construction. 4 nonprofits will receive help from Manitoba's tech sector to amplify their impact.
The question I often hear is, what technology is right for me and my team?
That's the question Tech Manitoba hopes to answer with its new pilot project. It will pair Tech Manitoba members with nonprofit groups in Winnipeg, northern Manitoba, and rural southern communities. The aim is to help them implement digital solutions to improve efficiency, expand their reach, and strengthen community programs. The pilot is being launched ahead of Manitoba Tech Week.
Every organization has adopted technology over the last 20+ years, and now we have this new wave of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, and we want people to be curious about what's out there, who's doing well with what, and to learn a little bit about, is this relevant for me?
Tech Week will feature 52 events in Winnipeg and other parts of Manitoba from February 22nd to the 28th. It's open to everyone. The federal government is providing more details of its new automotive strategy with a plan to ease concerns about electric vehicle range by increasing the number of charging stations across the country.
That's why our new government is bolstering our support for the National Charging Network, and together with a new regulatory approach and purchase incentive program, this will give Canadians confidence, give industry certainty, and give investors reason to commit capital here in Canada.
The government announced more than $97 million for 155 clean transportation projects across Canada. Just over $84 million will be used to install more than 8,000 electric vehicle chargers, adding to the 30,000 chargers that already exist. A Canadian study says giving babies peanuts, eggs, fish, and other common food allergens early and consistently decreases the risk they'll be allergic to them. Researchers at Hamilton's McMaster University analyzed 190 food allergy studies from around the world. Their findings, published in JAMA Pediatrics, found delaying the introduction of peanut-containing foods until babies were over 12 months old doubled their likelihood of becoming allergic to the nut. The study showed similar results for fish and eggs. It also found higher risks among babies with eczema, asthma, or a family history of allergies, underscoring the importance of early exposure for higher risk infants. Food Allergy Canada cautions peanuts are a choking hazard, but suggests mixing peanut butter with hot water, cooling it, and adding it to soft foods the baby is already eating. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound median and curb lanes on Carleton Street will be closed from Ellis to Graham Avenue. The westbound curb lane on College Avenue will be closed between Arlington and Sinclair Street. And following the rush, the eastbound curb lane on Notre Dame Avenue will be closed from King Edward to Keewatin Street. If you have any other traffic tips, please text them to us.
Minus 16 outside this morning. Feeling like minus 22, but that's due to a very light wind out of the south, 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, humidity sitting at 87%. Those temperatures did return to seasonal values this past night, down to minus 19 earlier this morning, just a few hours ago, but already beginning to warm up and will continue to do so throughout the day today. As far as clouds go, sure, there's a few of them, but we might see them hanging around into the afternoon. We could also see a little bit of fog developing over the course of the morning, but then increasing amounts of sun once that fog burns off into the afternoon, right up into parts of northern Manitoba. Moments, or at least pockets, of sunshine and really pleasant above seasonal temperatures. Churchill headed to a high of minus 12, minus 10 in Gillam. The rest of northern Manitoba in those high minus single digits or low to mid minus single digits over here in the northwest. A few extra clouds further that you go into the north. Once you're into the more central stretch of the province, you're seeing better chance of sunshine, and that includes places like Dauphin, although other parts of the southwest might be encountering some heavier clouds. Look at these temperatures, though. Just a few degrees below the freezing mark. This will be one of the mildest parts of the province. Here in the southeast, it won't be quite that warm, but by tomorrow we could be experiencing numbers very similar to that. Today, just a few degrees cooler, still well above seasonal. A normal high would be minus 9, and you can see everybody through the southeast will be above those numbers. And northwestern Ontario, slightly cooler yet, but again, milder than you might expect for this time of year. Keeping in mind it is February and we expect things to be cold and wintry, and that's not at all the case. It's going to be feeling more like spring with these temperatures still on the rise throughout the rest of the week. The lines there, that is fog. There might be some foggy conditions throughout the week, but it's also going to be incredibly mild.
Thank you, Terry. You may be watching the Winter Games from home, wondering if you could do what some of Canada's athletes are doing. As CTV's Jessica Smith reports, one content creator is trying to answer that question.
Dancing or downhill skiing is my forte.
Ice skating? Maybe singles, yeah. Because every time I partnered with someone, that's where I get confused or I'll trip over them. Yeah. So just singles, I think it's possible.
To answer the question how the average Joe or armchair athlete would stack up against an Olympian, Toronto content creator Simona Stallone decided to take on the challenge.
There's a lot of hard work that goes into making something look effortless, and the purpose of this is, the comedic twist of this is to showcase that in probably one of the most extreme kind of experiments, but I'm here for it. I commit to the bit, and I'm doing it for the plot.
Stallone created a social media series called the Out of Shape Olympics during the 2024 Summer Games, trying over 20 sports. Now she's back trying her hand at the Winter Games.
I think the whole purpose of the series, obviously, is one, to have fun, but two is to really showcase how amazing these Olympians are. Miss Ewan.
How's it going?
Ski patrol.
During every attempt, safety precautions are taken, reaching out to professionals in each sport she tries.
I reached out to Mount St. Louis. I was like, hey, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. They were super receptive, and they were very excited to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, they're like, hey, we're going to assign a ski patroller with you the entire day.
The hardest winter game sports she's tried so far.
I did do bobsledding, and I did do skeleton. And skeleton was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life.
But her favorite, a Canadian classic.
Oh my gosh, I love curling so much. I never expected to like it that much. I went in really with no expectations. What a sport.
Showing that no matter what place an Olympian finishes in, their hard work and dedication are a testament to their incredible skill level.
Up next for Stallone, she's going to try her hand at figure skating events along with a little bit of snowboarding to continue to show her support for the Winter Olympics and its athletes in her own special way. Jessica Smith, CTV News.
A motorcycle on Vancouver Island has been lost, found, and loved again, connecting a family across generations. As CTV's Adam Sawatsky shows you now, what started as a father's pride and joy has become a story of kindness and unexpected reunions.
If you ask Richard Bales about his dad,
pretty damn cool.
He'll show you a picture of him on his beloved bike.
I've known about this bike my whole life.
The motorcycle his dad customized to look even cooler.
His pride and joy.
That he never wanted to sell. But he was a single father then.
It was probably pretty hard. We all make sacrifices for our family.
Well, they never saw that motorcycle again. Richard and his dad did bond over a shared passion for bikes.
My dad was always super involved.
Was.
His birthday today.
His dad died from a rare health condition when Richard was a teenager. And besides this old knife, Richard has nothing tangible to remember him by.
Everything's just stuff. It's just how that stuff makes you feel.
But then one day, Richard saw a post on social media about the old swap-and shop where his dad sold his bike and decided to join in the conversation by posting this picture.
I was literally shocked. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Eugene Hudson saw the motorcycle he'd bought off Richard's dad when he was 17 years old.
I loved the bike beyond reason. It was a part of me.
Eugene had had it for almost 50 years before inviting Richard and his family to come see it.
And it was a really, really moving, tearful reunion.
And despite Eugene having countless wonderful memories wrapped up with the bike, he saw how Richard was missing even more.
I just knew it in my heart. I knew it. This has to go back home.
So although Eugene was never ever planning to part with the bike, he offered it to Richard.
I guess the way I look at it is I'm just a caretaker for this.
And Richard gratefully accepted.
Yeah, man, it was an honor that this guy felt like I was the right human for his girl.
Now the bike is on display in Richard's dining room, where he and his family will be gathering for a special dinner in honor of his dad's birthday.
It's cool. They're going to be able to see that, and it's history.
And knowing that Richard's grandkids will now be able to grow up to ride their great-grandfather's motorcycle couldn't make Eugene happier.
And its story can live on, sort of thing.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
Quite a ride. All right, here's a look outside now on the Provencher Bridge. Things are picking up slowly in this part of the city. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. It's Wednesday, February 11th. Today, BC deadly shooting. A northern community mourns after a mass attack leaves at least 9 people dead. Plus, police headquarters inquiry, what we're learning after day 1 of testimony in the probe into Winnipeg's police headquarters project. And Olympic reset. Canada's women's hockey team looks to rebound after a tough loss without captain Marie-Philippe Poulin. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock on your Wednesday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. On February 23rd, the week of February 23rd is when Manitoba Tech Week is happening. So we're going to learn a little bit more about what that means and what some of the innovators and business and tech industry experts are going to be talking about during that week, and how a lot more than just businesses are getting tech involved in their business models. We're going to hear how museums and nonprofits are getting involved with tech as well, and what Manitobans are doing about it. So we're going to have that a little little later. But the weather waking up this morning, yeah, it was a cool start.
I wore my parka this morning. Not mad about that choice. If you're going to be out in the early morning hours, I recommend that you lift or that you reach for that heavier layer, just because it has been a little bit cool and will remain so through the morning hours into the afternoon. Things will be warming up nicely. We'll end up above seasonal, but it's going to take some time before we're getting into the balmier hours. Minus 16 is where we're sitting right now, feeling like minus 22. That's with a wind out of the south at 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 87%. Okay, so we are seeing moments of clear patches, but also the possibility that we're going to get clipped with some slightly heavier clouds, maybe even some fog developing over the course of the morning. Slightly heavier clouds, though, certainly through central and northern Manitoba, and with it could even come some light and scattered flurries. So off and on throughout the day today, maybe a little bit of scattered snow. We could be seeing a few more of those clouds moving through in the overnight hours. Tomorrow, the possibility of maybe a few extra clouds, and you can see the very scattered, I mean, we're talking light, very patchy, not a very organized system at all, of some flurries that could be passing through. More organized system that'll be rolling across northern Manitoba, and that'll be throughout the day Thursday. Once we're starting to look, well, after today, I mean, even today will be an above seasonal day, but after today, we're going to be hovering on either side of the freezing mark. So really, really mild, feeling more like spring than mid-February, with these temperatures that are going to keep us, like I said, up to the freezing mark, maybe even into the plus digits at times, and even those overnight lows will be closer to daytime highs. That is fog that you're seeing, the lines there, so we could experience that later this week. A big thank you to the grade 7 class at Riverview School for our art today. All of these snowflakes, you might spot a few of them out and about, the real kind, but we love seeing the art, so please keep sending your pictures along to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
A long-awaited inquiry into the purchase and construction of the Winnipeg Police Headquarters project got underway Tuesday. The inquiry is examining the dealings of previous city officials, including former Mayor Sam Cates and former city CAO Phil Schiegel. This official scrutiny comes after cost overruns and a civil court judge who ruled in 2022 Schiegel took a bribe. CTV's Jeff Gill has the details on what happened on day one.
Day one of the Winnipeg Police Headquarters project inquiry heard about risky bid contract changes prior to construction that were not business as usual.
Good morning, everyone. I now call this public inquiry to order.
The $135 million project to buy and renovate the former Canada Post building ended up costing $214 million. Decade-old court documents filed by RCMP allege the city was the victim of a multi-million-dollar fraud. The first witness at the inquiry was Barb Davignon, the city's 36-year manager of purchasing. She was asked about an amendment in early 2011 that reduced a performance bond from $40 million to $25 million for the $80 million construction bid on the project.
In your 35 years working with the city, have you ever seen a bond that's $25 million for what's proposed to be an $80 million contract? Is that usual, unusual, common, seen it before, never seen it again?
Never seen it before, and I've never seen it again.
These bonds are like collateral required by the city to ensure a project is completed. If not, they can cash it in. Davignon wrote a risk assessment back then, stating $25 million was considered too low to cover off in case of serious default in the work. A civil court judge concluded in 2022 that former city CAO Phil Schiegel accepted a $327,000 bribe from Caspian Construction, the project's general contractor. Caspian's lawyer, George Orrell, pointed out to Davignon she told RCMP Schiegel's intent was to lower the bond to get smaller companies into the bid process.
It wasn't lowered specifically for Caspian. That was part of the proposal. Anyone who wanted to take advantage of that lower amount could do that.
Correct.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
All eyes will be on the witness scheduled to testify as early as Thursday. That's when former Mayor Sam Cates is scheduled to appear before the inquiry. A community and the country are still coming to grips with an unimaginable tragedy in northern BC, where at least 9 people were killed in a mass shooting.
Not in a place now to be able to understand why and what may have motivated this tragedy. This was a rapidly evolving and dynamic situation, and the swift cooperation from the school, first responders, and the community played a critical role in our response.
It happened in the town of Tumbler Ridge, northeast of Prince George. 7 of the 9 victims were found inside the local high school. 2 more victims were found dead in a nearby home. The suspected shooter was also found dead at the school, suffering from self-inflicted injuries, and several others were hurt. An emergency alert urging residents to shelter in place was lifted last night, and police don't believe there is an ongoing threat to the public. Both the elementary school and high school in the community will be closed for the rest of the week. The mass shooting has prompted a wave of condolences from across the country, including from Prime Minister Mark Carney. In a statement last night, Carney said he is devastated by the horrific shootings in Tumbler Ridge and joins Canadians in grieving with those whose lives have been changed irreversibly today. Carney has since suspended his plans to travel to Halifax. He was expected to announce his government's long-awaited defense industrial strategy before flying on to Germany to attend the Munich Security Conference. His office says he's postponing the announcement and suspending his overseas trip, quote, for the time being. Manitoba RCMP and officials at Stony Mountain Institution have foiled a plot to smuggle more than $500,000 worth of drugs into the prison. RCMP say around 1 in the morning Sunday, a drone dropped off a package suspected to be drugs. Officers were nearby and spotted a vehicle. It was pulled over, and the officers later found a drone at the feet of the male passenger. Officers seized a quantity of meth, cocaine, tobacco, and cannabis concentrate believed to be worth $600,000 inside the prison. A 28-year-old Calgary man is charged with 2 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking. The former president of the University of Winnipeg is suing the post-secondary institution over his termination. Todd Mondor was appointed president and vice chancellor in 2022. He held the post until he was fired following a meeting last November. Mondor filed a statement of claim in the Court of King's Bench on January 30th. He alleges the university terminated his employment agreement in a, quote, manner that was misleading, callous, humiliating, and in breach of its duty of good faith. At the time, the university's board chair said the decision to remove Mondor was reached after careful consideration and extensive deliberation. The university hasn't filed a statement of defense, and a university spokesperson says it will not be providing a comment as this matter is before the courts. None of the allegations has been tested in court. Here's a look at what's happening outside now at Confusion Corner. It looks like things are slowly picking up in this part of the city, but we have no reports of any issues to tell you about at this point in the drive. If you see anything out there, though, please let us know.
A gangbuster fourth quarter for Canadian cloud-based commerce giant Shopify. It achieved Q4 revenue growth of 31% and a 19% free cash flow margin, marking 10 consecutive quarters of double-digit free cash flow margins. 2025 was Shopify at full throttle, driving compounding growth while laying the rails for the new era of AI commerce. That's Harley Finkelstein, president of Shopify. In the wake of decertification and tariff threats by U.S. President Donald Trump, Bombardier has won a $1.2 billion U.S. 40-plane order for its Challenger 3500 from Dubai-based Vista Global Holding, Inc., one of the world's biggest operators of business jets amid growing global demand for private aviation. Its largest markets are the U.S. and Europe. Vista's aircraft order comes as Brian Bedford, the head of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, said on Tuesday that he expects Canada's aviation regulator to approve Gulfstream jets there soon. The New York Times is reporting Matthew Moran, whose family has operated the Ambassador Bridge connecting Windsor, Ontario to Detroit, Michigan for decades, met with U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick just hours before Donald Trump threatened to block the opening of the nearby Gordie Howe International Bridge. Sources tell the Times that Lutnick spoke with Trump by phone about the matter after the meeting with Maroon. The president would post his threats about not allowing the bridge to open just before 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Magazine's Dine About Winnipeg is back, and Ainsley's spending some time in the kitchen this morning. Tell us what, does it smell good?
Oh, yes, chef. Excellent. Yes, this can now be plated. Thank you so much. Just kidding. When I used to work at a salad restaurant in the financial district of Toronto, they didn't even trust me with the quinoa, Rochelle. So this is not a place that I've normally been welcomed. We're talking Dine About Winnipeg. We're at Peasant Cookery all morning long. These are fixed menus just in time for Valentine's Day. Gentlemen, one word, reservation. You only got 3 days to do it, and we're going to provide you with 14 different options. Dine About Winnipeg happens about this time every year, with restaurants taking part, everything from fine dining to casual eats, and really encouraging people to go to restaurants and to shop local. Didn't I do such a great job?
Looks amazing, yes. Now I'm hungry. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. How's it feeling out there, Terry?
You know, pleasant, but I say that because I chose the right jacket this morning. I picked the heavier parka, and I'm glad about that choice. The last few days I was out here in just like the lighter winter coat, and I wasn't so confident about choosing that layer today, so I opted instead for something a little bit warmer, and I am sure glad about it because these temperatures overnight dropped back to seasonal, and I know we've had a couple of days of the above seasonal temperatures, but that return to what is normal is a little bit of a wake-up call. It's sitting right now at -16, so up a few degrees from that cooler temperature of -19 earlier this morning, though it does still feel like -23, even though the winds are light. They're only 12 kilometers per hour out of the south-southeast, the pressure falling, and the humidity at 88%. Now, looking off to the east right now, I can see the glow of where we'll be enjoying some sunshine today, but it also looks like there might be a little bit of fog developing, which I suspected we might be seeing over the course of the morning hours. So even if that fog does kind of encompass much of the area, it will eventually burn off, and we'll enjoy some of that sunshine later on today. And the temperatures, even though it dipped to normal values overnight, we're going to climb well above what you would expect for this time of year. Headed up to a high of -4. Other parts of the south, especially to the west of us, could be even closer to the freezing mark, and it's going to be mild for the rest of this week.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
It's time now for our question of the day. Today is National Guitar Day, and local musician Boy Golden will be with us a little later in the show. So we want to know what song or who comes to mind when you think of the guitar. You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name, please. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want to see more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more news and some entertainment, too. Stay with us. Morning. An inquest into the death of 16-year-old Aisha Hudson has heard from one of the youth who was in the vehicle with her when she was fatally shot by police. He was under 18 at the time and cannot be identified. He told the inquest he was under the influence of drugs and alcohol at the time and couldn't remember many details. The teen testified Hudson panicked when she realized police officers were following the Jeep after a liquor store robbery. He said he remembers crashing into a parked truck and waking up at the police station where his lawyer told him Hudson had died. The inquest has heard Hudson was driving the vehicle and that some people she was with went into a store, took bottles and cases of liquor, and threatened to stab a security guard. The inquest is examining whether the use of force was appropriate and if systemic racism played a role because the robbery suspects were identified as Indigenous. At a Senate hearing Tuesday, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick was asked to explain a lunch with Jeffrey Epstein at the sex offender's private island in 2012, years after he claimed to have cut off ties.
My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island.
Lutnick previously claimed he vowed never to be in a room with Epstein again following an uncomfortable interaction in 2005. Lutnick now faces calls from both Republicans and Democrats to resign. Canada women's hockey team will look to regroup after a tough loss against the U.S. that left many fans and teammates disappointed.
A little disappointed. It would have been nice to at least get 1 goal on the game.
This game doesn't count. It's what happens in the finals.
Playing without captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, Canada dropped the game 5-0 to the U.S. Poulin was ruled out before the game with what team officials are calling a lower body injury. The U.S. women have now beat Canada 7 straight times. Canada will try to figure things out before they play Finland tomorrow. This is the rescheduled game from last week when members of Team Finland fell ill with the norovirus. This morning's medal count shows Canada in 13th spot with 1 silver and 2 bronze medals. Norway leads the pack with a total of 12 medals. Here's what's happening right now outside in traffic at Kenaston and Sterling Lion Way. It looks like things are moving quite well to start off this Wednesday morning. If you see any problems out on the streets, please text them to us.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
In entertainment, a film festival promoting cool, clean, and compelling films is back for another year. Soul on Fire is one of the nearly 50 movies screening at the 16th annual Reel to Reel Film Festival.
Stay with me! Wake up! Coming through, coming through!
How bad is it?
He has burns to 100% of his body.
The 6-day event is centered around faith-based features, documentaries, shorts, and animated films. This year's lineup also includes family favorites like Paddington in Peru and the Garfield movie. It's all happening February 17th to the 22nd at the North Kildonan Mennonite Brethren Church. Visit Winnipeg Film Festival for tickets and showtimes. This voice doesn't necessarily match the pop star.
Sweetheart, now that you're old enough, there's something I've always wanted to tell you, and I think you're ready to hear it.
Hilary Duff is teasing an upcoming release using audio from the movie A Cinderella Story. Duff starred alongside Jennifer Coolidge in the 2004 film. She wrote in the caption, "I promise it's very pretty and it's very bright," with references to Coolidge's line. Fans will have to wait until tomorrow to find out the news, but we do know her new album drops February 20th. And she's been making people laugh for decades, and she's bringing her signature brand of self-deprecating humor to Winnipeg. Rita Rudner is scheduled to hit the stage at Burton Cummings Theatre May 29th.
Oh yes, my husband and I, we got married here in a drive-through wedding chapel. Well, very quick, not very romantic really, just screaming our vows in the clown's mouth.
Rutner is perhaps best known for holding the longest-running solo comedy show in the history of Las Vegas, but she's also written several books and appeared in multiple HBO specials. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. Kick off your Wednesday primetime lineup with The Masked Singer starting at 7. Johnny Knoxville hosts Fear Factor House of Fear coming at 8. Shark Tank is on at 9, and Shifting Gears winds up things at 10 o'clock. It's all right here tonight on CTV. Today is the day, Terry, when you go outside, you're going to need some extra layers because it's a cold start.
Certainly, yes. This morning, I would absolutely make sure that you're properly bundled up. I do anticipate that later on today, we're going to notice huge improvements, and maybe too much so. I talk about how it gets so incredibly mild that it might be tough to enjoy some of the wintertime activities, and you certainly might notice that throughout the rest of this week. We're looking through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Lots of activity out there on the streets today. Now, as far as the temperatures go, it might seem a little bit cool first thing this morning, but it's only a return to what is normal for this time of year, and really only here in the southeast, because looking off to the west of us, it is considerably milder. Minus 19 being a normal low temperature. That's where Gimli is sitting right now. Dauphin very close to that. We were at minus 19. We've now risen to minus 16, but then you can see there's places like Portage, Morden Winkler, even Brandon, who are well above what you would expect for this time of year, for this time of morning. Moving into northern Manitoba, mid-minus teens, and then all of a sudden there's Churchill, the anomaly here. Minus 30 this morning. Bundle up. It feels like minus 43. That's certainly the cold zone today. Even with our return to seasonal temperatures, it's only feeling like minus 23 right now, and that will change as we move through the day and these temperatures continue to rise. Here's a look right now at the satellite image. You can see a few extra clouds throughout the north. Clear right where Churchill is, and that's why it's so cold. That's typically the case. We've got some clear patches here through southern Manitoba, and we will enjoy some sunshine today. We might notice a little bit of fog developing over the course of the morning. Minus 12 as kids get into the classroom. Throughout the lunch hour, minus 7, and coming home minus 4. I told you it would be getting a lot milder later on today. That'll put us well above seasonal. Minus 9 normal for this time of year for a daytime high, and even our overnight lows are there or above, with our daytime highs a lot closer to the freezing mark. And I mentioned all that winter fun that we're still trying to enjoy. Well, you can see there's a lot going on out at Assisipi. Thanks to Terry for the photo, and keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
February 11th, 1975. Margaret Thatcher became the first woman to head a British political party when she won the Tory party leadership. Thatcher was elected Prime Minister when she led her party to victory in the 1979 general election. She was re-elected twice and was Prime Minister for 11 years. February 11th, 1990. Nelson Mandela, the world's most famous political prisoner, was freed by the South African government. The leader of the African National Congress had spent 27 years in jail for treason. He was later elected president of South Africa, a position he held from 1994 to 1999. February 11th, 1997. The Ontario Labour Relations Board certified a union at a Walmart store in Windsor. It was the first store in the company's 35-year history to be unionized. Despite the certification, the union never secured a first collective agreement. Doctors are raising red flags about artificial intelligence and health advice gone wrong. Some patients self-diagnosing with tools like ChatGPT. Here's CTV's John Valley-Rao on how often the chatbots get it wrong.
What you can do using ChatGPT.
Online, there's long been plenty of hype.
ChatGPT is now better than your doctor.
About how AI chatbots can diagnose medical problems. A quick consult that's free and easy.
Honestly, I think it's really good. I would place a lot of trust in the answers it gives me.
But the Canadian Medical Association sounding the alarm, warning consulting an AI for medical advice can be dangerous, especially if a patient delays or skips seeing a human doctor.
I would suggest that they need to be extremely curious and cautious, and that the best is still to see their family physician or primary care provider or specialist.
In a new survey of 5,000 Canadians, around half said they'd consulted with either Google AI or ChatGPT for health information. But the survey also found those following AI health advice were 5 times more likely to report health-related harms compared to those who didn't.
The harms tend to be delay in diagnosis or side effects from the treatment.
I think it's pretty good at some things, but there are some inaccuracies.
Some are concerned patients are turning to AI chatbots because of the shortage of family doctors. In fact, more than half who got information online said they had to because a walk-in clinic or doctor weren't available. But experts say an AI can confidently state something untrue and lacks a full patient history.
AI doesn't know them as a full person in their context, whereas I do as a family doctor. I know that they actually had this other symptom last year that they forgot to mention to AI.
And it turns out many are skeptical of AI responses. Only 1 in 4 in the survey say they trust it to provide accurate health information. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, we're going to learn all about Chow Magazine's Dine About Winnipeg. It's happening right now. We're going to tell you more on which restaurants are taking part. Dine About Winnipeg is back this year, and it's so fun to explore new restaurants under the program. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. And yeah, here at CTV, getting the behind the scenes look, coming into a restaurant at 5:30 in the morning. You're not really going to see it empty like this. I'm joined by the GM of Peasant Cookery, Brian Unick. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So when it comes to Dine About Winnipeg, what can people expect?
You know what? A lot of good food. Peasant Cookery, it's been here for years. It's about honest food from the land is what we say. Make it good, make it simple. And you know what else? It's just another reason to get out, right? To get out of the office, come down to the Exchange. It's a beautiful neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's different fixed prices as well. That's how Dine About Winnipeg works for different restaurants. There's well over a dozen of them. Tell us about some of your options.
Well, you know what? There's 4 different options to choose from. There's starters, mains, and a couple of desserts. Personally, I love the Reuben. That's on there. You can't go wrong with a Reuben. Calamari is one of the features as well. And for the people that have a little bit of a sweet tooth, Anna's made a gingerbread creme brulee. And I can't wait to try it. Mm-hmm. I haven't had the chance yet.
Oh, I went right to dessert. That's where I go as well. On behalf of the restaurant community, why is it important to have special festivals like this to really draw people in locally?
You know what? It's just for the restaurant community. It's good that we all get together. Good to have everybody join up. it's such a communal experience, breaking bread, as they say. The more festivals we can do, the more fun we can have it, the more we give our chefs a chance to get creative. You can't go wrong.
And before we're out of time, I know that Valentine's Day is all booked up. Sorry, guys, last-minute reservations. You gotta be quicker. What did I tell you? But other days available.
Yeah, absolutely. Push to Friday. Push to Friday.
Push it to Friday. Okay. Well, there's other options too throughout Winnipeg. We'll be telling you about that coming up at 7:42 with Chow Magazine itself.
Ooh, looking beautiful. I talked about the fog, and it looks like we're seeing that rolling in, but what an incredible shot. Human Rights Museum just poking through that fog and the gorgeous colors off beyond as the sun will be rising in about 10-15 minutes time. It's -16, feels like -23 with south-southeast winds 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 88%. That is such a cool shot. Honestly, when we do see moments like that of the fog kind of just letting some of the tops of the taller buildings show through, it does look incredibly cool. Speaking of cool, yes, we're noticing that this morning after those temperatures fell back to what is normal overnight. Some clear patches, but with that fog, it might not seem so clear. However, once that fog burns off, we should enjoy some sunshine through the day today. -4 is where we're headed, so it will be a very mild day. We had dipped as low as the seasonal -19 earlier this morning, but we're already making some gains and will continue to do so, taking us to -4, well above seasonal this afternoon. Just for a reference point, -9, that would be a normal daytime high, and in fact overnight we're not even dipping that low. The stretch of days ahead will keep us well above seasonal, not just with the overnight lows, the daytime highs that'll actually be a lot closer to the freezing mark, like tomorrow -1, and the winds remaining light to moderate out of the southwest at about 20 kilometers per hour. A little bit of sunshine. We could again notice some foggy conditions later on through the week, and those are the lines that we're seeing there. But right through the weekend and into the start of next week, these temperatures close to the freezing mark, maybe even at times into the plus digits.
If you're staying home with your honey this Valentine's Day, you can still serve up something sweet and beautiful. A local business is offering special Valentine's Day charcuterie boards and treats that'll help you express your love. Joining us now is the owner of Board and Bites, Renee Arnell. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good.
This is great. Okay, so if someone doesn't want to go out and do the fancy dinner, they could do something fancy at home. Why is that a good option for some couples?
It's good for the stay-at-home mom and dads that maybe don't want to go out and just want to spend Valentine's with their kids. I have 4 of them, so it's nice to always spend time with my kids. Maybe the cheaper route instead of going out for a very expensive dinner, because Valentine's can be very busy at this time of year, and can be also very expensive. So it gives you a little bit of cheaper alternative to stay in and have a charcuterie board and some chocolate-covered strawberries and enjoy a nice dinner.
Well, it sounds like just lovely, and you've set this up so beautifully. How did you get in this business?
So basically, I always used to love and bake and cook when I was in the kitchen when I was little.
Yeah.
And then when I got married, we loved to entertain at my place. So I was always the cooker in the family. So just watched a lot of Food Network shows and did a lot of reading cookbooks, and it's kind of easy for me. It's just what I do, and I love doing it.
It's your superpower, per se. Okay, so you have brought a real beautiful spread here.
Yes.
We're going to start with this side. These are obviously chocolate-covered strawberries. You've done these yourself.
I made them, yeah. So you can get them in a box of 4, 6, or 12.
Okay.
I provide chocolate, white chocolate,
I'm just gonna lift
and then
this
you
so
can do
people
sprinkles, or you can do different designs on it.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and then it comes all wrapped in a box for you and ready for your Valentine.
And you know what's really good with strawberries and chocolate? Some bubbly.
Yes.
What's this about? Tell us why this is important.
When you're having for dinner, you got to have a bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine. And this, I made this little wine charcuterie box. It basically just goes right on top of your wine bottle. It's a beautiful little gift for your Valentine to take home if you're staying in, of course. And it's just gorgeous.
It's
just
a
sitting on
treat,
the bottle.
Okay,
yeah.
you brought this. We have to talk about the charcuterie board. It's incredible. Tell us what you have on here.
So this is my large board. We handcraft all of my boards for our orders. So they're made out of birch and they're stamped with my logo in them, and then you get to keep them, use them as a backdrop in your kitchen, or you can use it as a cutting board, use it as a platter later. So you get a little bit of bonus with that too. I always believe not putting it in on like just a silver platter that you can throw away or in a box. To me, this means more when it's on a nice wooden board.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And it brings out the charcuterie for me. So
you really have a lot of options on there as well.
I do. I have 4 different cheeses on here. So I got a brie with some red pepper jelly, and then I got a nice, beautiful heart Briesen cheese on there. A Velveeta cheese, which is kind of like a red wine cheddar.
We're almost out of time already. You also brought some candy, which I love.
Candy box. So this is basically all red for Valentine's Day. There's caramels, chocolates in there, cinnamon hearts, sour gummies, licorice, marshmallows, and then over here is also my dessert platter that I made up for Valentine's. It's got also my chocolate covered strawberries that I make. There's all kinds of chocolates on there, brownies, cookies, wafers.
So if someone wants to reach out for Valentine's Day and they want to place an order, they probably need to get on it right away.
You need to get on it right away. Yeah, please DM me on my website. You can get a hold of me on my website. My menu is there. You can contact me at renee@boredandbites.ca, or just give me a call and we can get your order set. We also have the Valentine charcuterie cups as well for the girls.
This is great.
They're kind of cute.
Well, if you want more information, we have a link on our website. Thanks, Renee.
Thank you for having me.
We have a traffic alert to tell you about. A collision has knocked out the traffic signals on La Jumadière and East Mint Place. So please use caution, as there's also heavy fog in the area, and you should expect delays in that part of the city. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.31. The provincial average is $1.22. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.21. And the lowest price in the city is $1.12. All this information is on gasbuddy.com.
That again, even more so. I think that maybe did we just zoom in, or did the fog roll in even closer yet? Either way, more fog, Director Kim says. Thank you. All right, minus 16 feels like minus 23 with those south-southeast winds, 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, humidity at 88%. But look how interesting that looks. You can see how clear the sky is. You can't now. It's back to me. You can see how clear the sky was. Yeah, let's go back to it, shall we? How clear the sky was above the fog. Look at that. So there's very few clouds out there. Honestly, I could stare at that all day long. Ooh, and look way off in the distance. Is that the sun rising? Very, very cool. I think so. Yeah. 7:45 is official sunrise this morning, or 6. Anyway, we're very, very close to that. So no surprise if we're seeing the very beginnings. How cool does this look? You know what it reminds me of? That scene in Mary Poppins when they're up above the chimney tops. Anyway, let's come on back to the studio now and see how things will play out across the province today. Sure, we're dealing with that extra fog right now, but that will likely burn off, and we'll probably enjoy some sunshine then later on today. Everybody, no matter where you are, top to bottom, north to south, above seasonal temperatures, up to minus 12 in the Churchill area, where this morning it's minus 30. It's incredibly cold. Wind chill values in the minus 40s, but huge improvements will be made today, and mainly clear conditions in the far, far northeast, right around Churchill. For everybody else, probably some clouds, maybe even a little bit of light and scattered snow. That includes most of northern Manitoba with those heavier clouds. Now, places like the Pas might enjoy a little bit more sunshine, and maybe a couple of places throughout the central or southwestern parts of the province. Look how mild of a day, though. Just barely below the freezing mark. A couple degrees milder than where we're headed today, which is already going to be well above seasonal. Minus 4 expected here in Winnipeg. And then even further east of us, seasonal or slightly above. Just for a reference point, minus 9, that would be a normal daytime high. So we'll go beyond it today. Rest of this week, a lot closer to the freezing mark. Those lines, those are foggy conditions that you can expect through the latter part of the week and into the coming weekend.
Terry, Dine About Winnipeg is put on by Chow Magazine. Has been doing it for years. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Yeah, Chow's been around for, what is it, Lori, 30 years?
Yes, we're in our 30th year.
3 decades. And Dine About Winnipeg provides an opportunity for you at home to taste some of the best restaurants in the province. Lori, tell us all about this amazing annual festival.
Yes, this is the time of year where dining enthusiasts look forward to a much anticipated event where restaurants come together and offer special 3-course meals at a set price, all with the hope that the dining community will try something new, get out of their comfort zone, and see what they have in store.
And the range is spectacular. You're trying everything from fine dining to local mom and pop shops.
That's absolutely right. And you know, Winnipeg is a restaurant city. Chow readers know this, but we punch well above our weight when it comes to the style of restaurants that we have. And there are 3 reasons why our restaurant city is so spectacular. And if I may, like the 3 things that make Winnipeg so special is that we have fantastic ingredients. We're a prairie province, and so the quality of the produce, of the proteins, everything that we can glean from is top notch. Number 2, we have fantastic talent. We're an arts city, and that plays out in the kitchens with the culinary artistry that the chefs apply. And thirdly, we have enviable cultural diversity. So here we have recipes that originate from all over the world at the hands of talented chefs with ingredients that are top-notch. We've got dishes that are better than the original recipes from their homeland.
Wow. And what does it mean to the restaurant owners, too?
Well, I think for Dine About Winnipeg, it means that they can come together and really celebrate the dining experience rather than order a quick dish and out the door, one and done. You know, that's sort of the world we live in right now. So it's a chance to really tuck in and enjoy some of the things that the restaurants do best.
I'll be browsing for the rest of the morning because there's so many great options here. Maybe you'll have a bite of the mussel. Back to you.
Fire crews in Winnipeg were kept busy Tuesday evening responding to fires in the Central Park neighborhood and in St. James. According to a news release from the city, fire trucks rolled to an apartment building in the 300 block of Quappelle Street at around 7:10 p.m. Crews found smoke coming from the building. Firefighters attacked the fire and declared it under control just before 7:30. There were no injuries. A little later in the evening at around 8 p.m., a call out came for a fire in a high-rise apartment building in the 200 block of Ronald Street. At the scene, crews found smoke coming from the building. Firefighters fought the blaze, declaring it under control at 8:30. Paramedics assessed 1 patient and transported them to hospital in stable condition. Both fires are under investigation and no damage estimates are available. If you are planning to fly to Atlanta or Nashville directly from Winnipeg, you'll soon be out of luck. WestJet is suspending services to the 2 destinations. A spokesperson for the airline tells CTV the move is due to a notable decline in cross-border travel demand last year. It also notes there's been a 15% reduction in historically peak travel times to the U.S. Meantime, WestJet will also seasonally suspend flights from Winnipeg to Orlando. CTV News has inquired when this service will officially come to an end, but we haven't yet received a response. The federal government is providing more details of its new automotive strategy with a plan to ease concerns about electric vehicle range by increasing the number of charging stations across the country.
That's why our new government is bolstering our support for the National Charging Network, and together with a new regulatory approach and purchase incentive program, this will give Canadians confidence, give industry certainty, and give investors reason to commit capital here in Canada.
The government announced more than $97 million for 155 clean transportation projects across Canada. Just over $84 million will be used to install more than 8,000 electric vehicle chargers, adding to the 30,000 chargers that already exist. The United Kingdom's regulatory body for medicine and healthcare products has issued a warning over popular weight loss drugs for a rare risk of vision loss. It has to do with drugs using GLP-1s sold under Ozempic, Wegovy, and Rybelsus brands. They're usually prescribed to patients with type 2 diabetes or for weight management. The UK's regulatory agency says in extreme extremely rare cases. They can reduce blood flow to the front of the optic nerve, causing sudden, painless vision loss in one eye. The agency says studies suggest it could affect up to 1 in 10,000 people taking semaglutide. Celebrating a milestone today. Happy birthday, Lynn, with love and best wishes from all the people who call you mom and grandma. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff, Winnipeg's balloon headquarters with 3 locations.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
All right, -4 is where we're headed today. So it will be a warm one because obviously that's well above a seasonal high of -9. Last year, we were a lot closer to normal low temperatures at -18.6, the warmest of the day. All the way back in 2002, though, 5 degrees. Talk about mild. And we'll be a lot closer to those numbers throughout the course of this week, up around the freezing mark. Look at this morning, though. Absolutely stunning. There's the sun. It has risen now and shining above the fog. So the entire city is all below the fog. Just me and the sunshine up here right now. -16 feels like -23. South-southeast winds 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 88%. Honestly, it is pretty cool to be up above the fog. We'll likely see it burning off later on this morning and then increasing amounts of sunshine because you can see up here that there's really not a lot of clouds. It's just that fog. So into the afternoon, we'll be enjoying more of that sunshine as the temperatures continue to rise. Yeah. Oh, it looks gorgeous. Okay, around the province, there might be a little bit of extra cloud, maybe some scattered flurries. That'll be up around northern Manitoba today. Temperatures, though, no matter where you are, they are going to climb to above seasonal values. What a cool shot of this city. This is incredible. Yes, so -4, that's where we're headed today. The rest of the week, even warmer yet. Increasing amounts of sunshine, as I mentioned, and those winds remaining on the lighter side. They're not going to be much of an issue.
Thank you, Terry. When it comes to technology, talent, and innovation, Manitoba is a great place to create, learn, and invest. Tech Manitoba is putting on a week to highlight the people, the businesses, and ideas coming from our province's innovation and technology industries. Joining us now to tell us more about Manitoba Tech Week is Shaylin Stimpson from Tech Manitoba. Good morning, Shaylin.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Manitoba is a really great place for this kind of business. Why are we a great sort of breeding ground for technology?
Absolutely. We have tons of really great post-secondary programs and lots of great local talent. It really is a close-knit tech community as well that is always supporting each other.
And what makes Manitoba sort of different from other provinces? What do we have that nobody else has?
I think we're very humble, so I don't think we brag enough about everything that we do have going on behind the scenes, and MB Tech Week is really going to show that off, hopefully on a larger stage.
Okay, so what does it look like? Just because this is the 3rd annual that you're doing MB Tech Week, so what is it going to look like and what's happening?
Absolutely. So this is going to be the 3rd year. It has grown a ton since the 1st year. We had 17 events on the calendar. This year we have over 50.
Wow. Okay.
It's all online at mbtechweek.ca, and there really is something for everybody.
What kind of topics are we talking about here?
Everything from AI, which is such a hot topic right now, cybersecurity, digital adoption, and then how it works in other industries too, like healthcare and museums. Lots of different associations and companies are jumping on board to support the week.
So with this week, is it to encourage businesses to sort of think outside the box when it comes to technology and innovation?
Absolutely. I mean, digital adoption is a huge topic. I think everyone now uses technology in some aspect of their everyday life. So tech really is everywhere, and we're trying to sort of shine a spotlight on everything great happening right here at home in Manitoba.
And some of the innovators that we have here are making a real difference around the world, aren't they?
Absolutely. I know there's been tons of really great local startups and scale-ups in the news recently, and we just want to shine a bigger spotlight on everything that we have going on.
And for business who are interested in maybe going more tech with their models, what should they keep in mind when they visit your week and check out some of these discussions and chats and workshops?
Absolutely. I mean, the calendar is very broad and wide-reaching. We have something for really everyone. Like I mentioned, we have lots of involvement from post-secondaries. We also have stuff for families who maybe have kids that are interested in learning more about tech, potentially as a career option. And then also lots of industry experts that are going to be talking a little deeper on AI and what that looks like for a company.
Okay, and so this whole event started 3 years ago, and we are in the midst of a trade war right now. So why is it important to support local innovators as well as technology?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much local talent I think we forget about. It's right in our own backyard. I know we often outsource even to other provinces. So we're really trying to shine the spotlight on all the great companies that we have here in Manitoba, and MB Tech Week is a great way to check out some of the local innovations.
What's happening, where is it at, and how do people check it out for themselves?
Absolutely. So it runs every year, the last week of February. This year it is February 22nd to 28th, which is the Sunday to the Saturday, and all the details can be found online at mbtechweek.ca.
And so do you just show up, or do you have to book tickets? How does that work?
Yeah, so every event is hosted by a different organization. So all the different ticket links are online. Lots of the events are free. Some of them are virtual, and we're reaching not just in Winnipeg. We also have events happening in Winkler and Warden this year.
So do you think whatever's happening here in Manitoba will eventually spill across the country? Do you think you'll bring other tech and innovators from around Canada?
I mean, absolutely, that's the goal with MB Tech Week. We want to grow it. We want to really put what we do in our province on a much larger stage. So with it already growing so much in just 3 years, we hope to see it continue to expand.
All right, and if you want more information, we do have a link on our website. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Hello, Matt Scooby inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday, and for it, we go to Russia, where it was a Canadian dominating in the KHL. St. Catharines, Ontario native Taylor Beck was on a mission. 2 goals, 5 assists, setting a KHL record 7 points in one game. His team, Sibir, put up a 10 spot over Sochi. Now, 9 players had previously put up 6 points, including Ilya Kovalchuk and Alexander Radulov. But now the Canadian has the single game record and is your must-see moment from Tuesday. And tonight on TSN, Tangerine Raptors basketball. Toronto taking on Detroit. Tip-off at 7:30 Eastern. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
Here's a look at what's happening right now on Taché Avenue. It looks like a good start to the day so far. We have no issues to tell you about in this part of the city. We'll be right back after this short break. It's Wednesday, February 11th. Inquiry begins. How soon could the probe into police headquarters construction and the associated cost overruns hear from the man who was mayor in that era? Island of uncertainty. Winnipeg residents with family ties to Cuba watch nervously as the country's energy crisis and its overall economic outlook get worse. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Wednesday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. The province is seeing a rise in RSV cases as well as measles cases right now. So we're going to have some important reminders on what to do if you're in one of the hot zones or what to do to protect yourself. And then at 8:27, Boy Golden, he's a local musician. He's in town releasing his brand new album. We're going to get a sneak peek and a little bit more details on what inspires his music. But the weather, it's not so bad out there right now. It's a beautiful sunrise.
Yes, the sun rising over the fog. We've been taking looks outside and it looks so gorgeous. Another glance and you can see what I'm talking about. Minus 16. Our temperature really hasn't budged over the course of the morning. Feeling more like minus 23. The winds are light out of the south-southeast, 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 88%. That fog, it actually just rolled in over the last hour or so. So we'll deal with that. But you saw above, it is fairly clear. There's not much in the way of clouds. So once that fog burns off, we should enjoy that sunshine today and the really mild temperatures that are going to come with it. Even though this morning might feel a little bit cool as we dropped back to seasonal temperatures last night. But now over the course of the day, we'll all from northern Manitoba right down into the south be rising to above seasonal values. There might be some extra clouds, maybe even some scattered snow moving across parts of northern Manitoba. And there's the possibility that there's going to be more showing up for tomorrow and an even more organized batch of it pushing across northern Manitoba. But these temperatures are going to be incredibly mild over the next stretch of days, closer to the freezing mark than not, and well above the seasonal -9. So -4 is where we're headed today. Our overnight lows are actually closer to seasonal daytime highs. I'll remind you again that the fog icon is those lines that you're seeing Friday through the weekend. So might be a little bit foggy, but it's most definitely going to remain mild, and that'll be the case into the start of next week. Our art today is a big thanks to the grade 7 class at Riverview School. We appreciate your sharing your snowflakes with us, looking very neat. Okay, we'd love to see more of your art, so please draw, color, or paint, and send those pictures to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by 103.1 Virgin Radio.
The long-awaited public inquiry into the police headquarters project is officially underway. The probe will examine why the project went tens of millions of dollars over budget. The city's longtime manager of purchasing, Barb Davignon, is the first of 33 witnesses expected to testify over the next few months. The inquiry will be split into 5 separate phases to understand how the project ballooned by $79 million and examine the city's ability to take on large-scale construction projects in a cost-effective, timely, and ethical manner. The first phase, titled the Redevelopment Project, will dig into the project's background. Former Mayor Sam Cates and former City CAO Phil Schiegel are among those scheduled to testify. Cates could testify as early as tomorrow. The subsequent phases will look into the money trail, city policies and practices, recommendations for change, and finally, submissions. The inquiry is expected to run until mid-June. A community and the country are still coming to grips with an unimaginable tragedy in northern BC, where at least 9 people were killed in a mass shooting.
We are not in a place now to be able to understand why and what may have motivated this tragedy. This was a rapidly evolving and dynamic situation, and the swift cooperation from the school, first responders, and the community played a critical role in our response.
It happened in the town of Tumbler Ridge, northeast of Prince George. 7 of the 9 victims were found inside the local high school. 2 more victims were found dead in a nearby home. The suspected shooter was also found dead at the school, suffering from self-inflicted injuries, and several others were hurt. An emergency alert urging residents to shelter in place was lifted last night, and police don't believe there's an ongoing threat to the public. Both the elementary school and high school in the community will be closed for the rest of the week. A Winnipeg family with strong connections to Cuba is sounding the alarm about a rapidly worsening energy crisis on the island. Rolling blackouts, transportation shutdowns, and flight cancellations have left loved ones struggling and tourists stranded.
Like now, in this moment, it's no transportation, it's hard, everything to go to work, and it's really bad in all the ways to cook because you don't have powers.
Political pressure from the White House has severed Cuba from its main petroleum sources in Mexico and Venezuela. That's made aviation fuel, gas, and diesel increasingly scarce. Luis Escalona immigrated to Canada from Cuba in 2015. His parents and siblings still live on the island, and ongoing power shortages often make communication difficult or impossible. He and his wife had been scheduled to visit Cuba in March, but their flight has been canceled. Friends staying in resorts there already are wondering what's next. No one was seriously hurt when a single-engine plane landed on a busy road in Georgia. This happened near Gainesville, about 80 kilometers north of Atlanta. The plane hit 3 vehicles during the landing, leaving 2 people with minor injuries. Officials say the plane suffered engine problems shortly after takeoff, and there wasn't enough time or power to make it back to the airport. Here's what's happening right now at Portage Avenue at Polo Park. It looks like things are moving quite well this Wednesday. If you have any traffic tips to share with us, please text them.
Traffic is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who has been in the kitchen throughout the morning showing us some really delicious, what looks to be delicious food. It must be really hard not to eat all morning long. Good morning, Ainsley.
I don't know which to pick, Rochelle, because I've seen 2 to 3 desserts already, which is where my sweet tooth comes in. And I got my utensils here. I said to Chef Eric, is this for my eyebrows? That's why I'm not allowed in kitchens. Okay, he's from Temecula. We're talking about Dine About Winnipeg all morning long. Eric, what are you working on now?
So I am currently working on our appetizer. It's a inari sushi, which is just like marinated tofu skin. And then our filling of choice for today will be a wasabi teriyaki salmon, as well as a kimchi tuna. So we make all our sauces in-house, and then this is one of 3 choices that you can get for the appetizers. And then we also have other boatload of entrees that you can pick from as well. Kind of like our soul steak, which is a very, very popular one. We also have our sake misoni, which is a salmon dish, and then our tofu poke bowl, which is a nice option if you are vegetarian.
Let's pull that out, because there are a boatload of options, a boatload of them. Okay, Eric, I'll grab it, because he mentioned the vegetarian option. What's on there?
So that one is our marinated shiitake mushrooms. We have pickled carrots, fresh onions and cucumber, as well as edamame beans. And then we have our sushi rice just underneath with our house sushi sauce, and then some avocado as well.
And for dessert?
So for dessert, we have a yuzu and black sesame tart. The black sesame is in the crust, as well as a yuzu tart topped with dark chocolate and chantilly cream.
Where can people find you guys?
We are located near Polo Park on Madison Street. Just down Ness, you'll find us if you keep driving and keep looking.
Just drive. Put your glasses on and drive down Ness. Okay. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Chef. Okay, coming up at 8:38, we're chatting with Chow Magazine themselves about restaurants trends in the city.
Thank you, Ainsley. With the cost of living increasing, it can be difficult to pay your bills, and a new survey finds many Canadians don't bother having life insurance. CTV's Pat Foran explains why experts recommend having it in your financial picture.
That's right. Pamela and Luigi Lacorda Vaughn are getting ready for a birthday party for their twins who are turning 1 year old. Even before they started a family, they decided to get life insurance as part of their financial plan.
Now that we have 2 kids, it makes me feel so much more relieved. It's part of our budget now. We don't even think twice about it.
A life insurance survey by Policy Me found 42% of Canadians don't have life insurance or are unsure if they do, and 65% said they are unlikely to get life insurance in the next 5 years. The LaCourts say for them, it was an important part of their fiscal strategy.
It's not much given the psychological benefit knowing that if you pass, your kids are set up, your mortgage can be paid off, and they won't have any burden.
When it comes to life insurance, people don't think about their death.
Policy Me specializes in term policies and says life insurance is not as expensive as many people think. A 20-year term policy for $250,000 for a 35-year-old man who is healthy and a non-smoker is about $19 a month. For a 35-year-old woman, the same coverage is about $15 a month. Once locked in, rates won't go up, and you can cancel at any time.
The point of life insurance is really to make sure that if that future income were to, not be around because because you pass away, that there is still money there to support the people who are relying on you.
Life insurance is a critical part of asset protection.
Financial expert Evelyn Jack says families should have a will along with life insurance, and says when policies are cashed in, they're tax-free.
It's a transaction you should do for yourself and your family to give you some peace of mind.
Finding extra money for another monthly expense can be difficult, but it may be worth it to know in the event of your death, your loved ones will be looked after. Pat Foran, CTV News.
It's been so cool looking with the fog that's just rolled in over the city. We're seeing it now looking through the CTV Live Eye, brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. Yeah, especially the parts where you really see the sunshine. Just wait for it. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, look at that. Look at that. honestly, I could look at that all day long. The fog won't last all day long. It'll likely burn off later on today, and you can see there's just a few clouds here or there, but my goodness, what a stunning start to your morning. It's also a little bit cool. Keep that in mind, because those temperatures last night fell back to seasonal. Only to seasonal. I mean, minus 19 was where we were just after midnight. That is a normal low for this time of year. We've already made some gains sitting at minus 16. We've actually just been hovering at minus 16 for the last few hours now, but milder off to the west of us, just into those minus double digits. Moving through central Manitoba, mid-minus teens. Up into the north, mid-minus teens, with the exception of Churchill. Most places under a blanket of clouds, providing that bit of insulation. Clear in Churchill, where it's incredibly cold. Minus 29 feels like minus 42 once you're factoring in that wind. Here in Winnipeg, with the wind, minus 23 is what you've got to dress for. So I did choose my parka this morning. It will be warming up later today if you're headed out and about, probably just needing a lighter layer, but through the morning hours, you might be glad to have the extra layer. The lines, that's indicative of the fog, which we just saw out there, but as it clears, it will be warming up with plenty of sunshine and temperature rising to a high of minus 4 by the time kids are coming home from school today. That's our expected high for today. Minus 9 is normal for this time of year. After today, it gets even warmer yet with the temperatures up around the freezing mark. Remember the fog icon? There it is again, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so it could be a little bit foggy all weekend, but it's also going to be incredibly mild. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
The province is seeing a rise in RSV and measles cases, and that has health professionals worried for children, the elderly, and those with chronic health conditions. Vaccinations are effective to prevent both RSV and measles, and joining us now to tell us more is Britt Curl with Pharmacist Manitoba. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, RSV is really dangerous for kids. We know that, for infants especially, but it's also really dangerous for 60 plus, right? Tell us why.
So we've known for a long time that RSV is a risk for children, and it continues to be, and there are strategies in place to help minimize those risks. But we also know, and more recently over the last 3, 4, 5 years, really due to better diagnostic tools and better screening, that RSV is actually affecting older populations far more than we would have expected previously.
Okay, so before we continue with that, what is RSV exactly?
So it's a virus. It is similar to the flu in many ways in that it circulates and causes the biggest burden of illness this time of the year. So usually what we consider to be the flu season, so like October through March, when colder seasons are affecting us in North America and we're inside more than outside a lot of times. And it can present very similar to flu in many cases. So a lot of people will feel tired, run down, sniffles, coughs, that sort of thing. But it can progress to more serious illness in older adults and people who have underlying medical conditions.
Okay, and so for the little ones, you know they're really sick because they're struggling to breathe, right? Is that how you know they're in danger?
Yep, that is definitely one of the complications of RSV, and the same thing can happen in older adults as well.
Okay, so how do you prevent it from happening, and what can you do to protect yourself?
So there is a vaccine that's available for RSV. There are 2 vaccines actually out on the market, and both of them can be very helpful for older adults or individuals, adults who have underlying medical conditions such as asthma, COPD, diabetes, or diseases that affect their immune system.
Okay, and so in an average year, 23,000 60-plus adults have had RSV in Manitoba.
Yes, that's a stat that I have seen recently. 23,000 Canadians who are 60-plus hospitalized on an annual basis with RSV. Some of those stays might be short. Unfortunately, some of them can be long and require intensive care.
And some can be deadly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the best way to protect yourself with that. We're also seeing a rise of measles cases in Manitoba. In fact, Manitoba is seeing the highest numbers in the country right now. What is measles and why is it so dangerous?
So measles, again, is a viral infection. It's highly contagious. And it has been a viral infection that has been relatively well controlled in North America into the last year or two, unfortunately. It's vaccine preventable, and it's completely free of charge to receive receive a vaccine in Manitoba, highly recommended. So individuals as young as 6 months old can receive a dose in many cases, but absolutely children a year and up should be getting at least 2 doses as per the schedule recommended by public health. And any adults who haven't received their full course of vaccines, so 2 doses, should also be getting a booster.
There was a potential of a super spreader in Brandon just a couple of weeks ago where there's many cases that are coming forward now where there are people infected with measles. It is so dangerous and it's so spreadable because it's just droplets in the air, right?
Absolutely, and you could be spreading it before you even know that you're sick. And that's the really scary part about measles, is you can be spreading measles 4 days before you even know that you're sick.
Wow.
So really, vaccine is the best way to help prevent it. We don't even think quite often about the long-term consequences of being infected with measles because it's been such a well-controlled disease public health-wise for many, many years, decades. But it can also cause some really very serious long-term consequences when you get measles, and it also can, unfortunately, in many cases, cause death.
Okay, and so this is not something you can just go to the pharmacist and get a vaccination. You need a prescription from your doctor, right?
So it's not a prescription. You would need to go to public health, either see your doctor, your nurse practitioner, go to public health to receive that dose. That's not available in pharmacies. RSV vaccines, you could get a prescription from your physician, your nurse, and take that to a pharmacist, and it could be injected, and you can be vaccinated by a pharmacist there if you wish.
Any other advice for the public?
You know what, I think the other thing to keep in mind with RSV vaccines and with other general viral infections is we can't play down the importance of just common sense things around viral infections. Practicing good hand hygiene.
Right.
Staying home when you're sick. If you have to go out and you're ill, wearing a proper fitted mask to help minimize the risk of spreading those droplets and causing illness to others.
Britt, thanks for your time today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, just me above the fog in the downtown area. I can't see the tops of the buildings just a couple blocks away. We've been talking about that fog and how cool of an effect it has as it's rolled in over the city, but a low-lying fog, which above is quite bright and sunny. Minus 16 right now, feels like minus 23 with that bit of a breeze. It's only 13 clicks out of the south-southeast this morning. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 87%. The fog is kind of a low-lying fog, and above it there's very few clouds, so once that fog burns off later this morning, we will enjoy some sunshine today. That will eventually warm us up nicely to above seasonal values, even though this morning, well, you can see I'm wearing the parka. It is a little bit cool feeling as we return to seasonal values overnight, but those gains will be made throughout the day that put us back up above normal, and from there we're going to stay above seasonal throughout the rest of the week and weekend. I mentioned the sunshine today. We might have a few extra clouds later this week, or even some foggy conditions expected Friday and throughout the weekend. But as mild as it gets today, it's going to get even warmer in the days ahead, topping at about minus 4 this afternoon, but up around the freezing mark, maybe even some plus digits as we look toward the end of the week and throughout the coming weekends. And our weather picture is showing all the wintertime fun, which might be difficult with where the mercury is headed over the course of the week. Out in Mississippi, thanks to Terry for the photo, and keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Winnipeg singer-songwriter Boyd Golden, aka Liam Duncan, is getting ready to release a brand new album. It's titled Best of Our Possible Lives, and a release party is happening right here at home tonight at Times Changed. Joining us now is Boyd Golden, aka Liam Duncan. Good morning, Liam.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, congratulations on this new album. How does it feel?
Thanks very much. Yeah, it feels good. It's been, actually hasn't been that long of a time coming, but for me, it, you know, it takes a long time to put these things out, and I'm just really excited for people to hear it.
Well, tell us about this new album and what fans should expect and what it means to you.
Sure. It's definitely just like the biggest sounding album I've ever made. It's kind of the biggest swing. Went down to LA, recorded it there with some legendary musicians, and then brought it back here. You can kind of hear it playing.
Yeah.
So it's just. Sorry.
Just keep
sorry,
talking. We're
just
listening and
distracted.
listening to you at the same time.
Okay.
It's beautiful, obviously. And how does it feel sharing that with your fans?
Yeah, good. As I said, it's been does take quite a while to put these albums together and to get them out into the world. So I'm happy that people are listening. And so far, all the singles have done really well, and people have been responding really well to them. So.
Well, one of the singles on the album is titled Suffer. It spent 9 weeks as #1 on Canadian alternative radio. This is the second #1 song in Canada for you. What does it mean to know the audience is responding in such a positive way?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that one do that well. I mean, really excited and surprised, but my last song that did that well was sort of a chipper, happy little fun-loving summer tune, and this one maybe a little more serious, but it seemed to connect really well, and I think that kind of makes sense. It sort of speaks to the climate that we all live in these days, and so I must have just resonated, I guess.
That's amazing. So now for people who maybe don't know your music, how would you describe it?
It's like, I always say it's country-ish. You know, it's my first loves are folk and rock and country, and then to a lesser extent maybe bluegrass, and so I think I kind of try to weave all of those things in there.
It's a real fusion, and you're going on tour with William Prince. Tell us what that's like and how excited you are to be a part of that tour.
I'm really excited to go on tour with William. This is actually, I think I've been home now, not on the road for like 3 months, and that is a long time for me. So it is time to go.
Okay.
And this tour is really cool because William's new album, Further From the Country, is really great. And I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I did have a lot to do with it. I produced that album and worked with him on it for months and months. And so I'm really proud of the record, and I'm super excited to see him doing this big tour. And I have a new record out as well, coming out on Friday, so I just think it kind of makes sense that we would go on tour together, and I think it's kind of a special story, you know? A couple Winnipeg pals.
And you're having an album release party. Tell us quickly about that.
Yeah, just really casual album release party down at Times Change tonight.
Okay.
Gonna play some songs solo, gonna play the record.
Sounds
casual
great.
and fun.
And doors open at 7 p.m. Thank you, Liam, and congratulations. Here's a look at what's happening right now on McPhillip Street. Things moving well over here. We'll be right back after this short break.
I look outside and you can see it's foggy. That's us trying to see Portage and Main. From the tops of the buildings where that fog has moved in, it has reduced the visibility somewhat. It's minus 16 right now with winds making it feel like minus 23, though the winds are on the lighter side, just 13 clicks out of the south-southeast. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 87%. Yeah, the fog rolled in a couple hours ago and now it's pretty much encompassing the city. It's a low-level fog. Above it, some sunshine. It will be looking a lot brighter later on this morning once that fog burns off and things begin to clear out. Not necessarily through central and northern Manitoba. You can see the extra clouds. There might even be some scattered snow, the possibility of some flurries right up into parts of northern Manitoba. But no matter where you are, north to the south, above seasonal temperatures are expected, even though we dipped back to seasonal temperatures overnight, and it might feel a little bit cool out there over the course of the morning hours until it begins to warm up, and once it starts, it's going to -4 this afternoon with winds out of the south at about 20 kilometers per hour. From there, only dropping to -7 overnight. -9 would actually be a normal daytime high, so not even dipping that low. Never mind the seasonal low of -19. That is nowhere in our near future. In fact, we're going to be closer to the freezing mark over the rest of this week and weekend, headed to a high of -1 tomorrow with a moderate southwest wind in place, staying up around the freezing mark, maybe even at times in the plus digits. These lines, that's indicative of the fog that we might experience through Friday and the weekend, with a little more sunshine coming back on the other side of that, but these very mild temperatures lasting into the start of next week, and maybe even a little precipitation by the time Tuesday rolls around.
An inquest into the death of 16-year-old Aisha Hudson has heard from one of the youth who was in the vehicle with her when she was fatally shot by police. He was under 18 at the time and cannot be identified. He told the inquest he was under the influence of drugs and alcohol at the time and couldn't remember many details. The teen testified Hudson panicked when she realized police officers were following the Jeep after a liquor store robbery. He said he remembers crashing into a parked truck and waking up at the police station, where his lawyer told him Hudson had died. The inquest has heard Hudson was driving the vehicle and that some people she was with went into a store, took bottles and cases of liquor, and threatened to stab a security guard. The inquest is examining whether the use of force was appropriate and if systemic racism played a role because the robbery suspects were identified as Indigenous. The City of Winnipeg is proposing to crack down on what it calls nuisance demonstrations.
What this is about us as a city making sure that we respect people's right to protest and to rally, but at the same time we have to make sure that the spaces, that people frequent on a regular basis are also protected.
The proposed safe access to vulnerable infrastructure bylaw sets limits on how close protests can be held to buildings like places of worship, schools, and daycares. It also sets fines for breaking the rules, including intimidation of people accessing these places. The fines start at $500 for the first offense and escalate to $5,000.
There's a way for all of us, I think, to kind of coexist, allowing people to maintain their right to rally and to protest. But at the same time, I think it's very reasonable that you shouldn't be subjected to anything that people may feel would be intimidating when they're trying to access the place that they're going to.
The city says the Executive Policy Committee will recommend the bylaw at its February 17th meeting before sending it to Council February 26th. Doctors are raising red flags about artificial intelligence and health advice gone wrong. Some patients self-diagnosing with tools like ChatGPT. Here's CTV's John Venevalley-Rao on how often the chatbots get it wrong.
What you can do using ChatGPT.
Online, there's long been plenty of hype.
ChatGPT is now better than your doctor.
About how AI chatbots can diagnose medical problems. A quick consult that's free and easy.
Honestly, I think it's really good. I would place a lot of trust in the answers it gives me.
But the Canadian Medical Association sounding the alarm, warning consulting an AI for medical advice can be dangerous, especially if a patient delays or skips seeing a human doctor.
I would suggest that they need to be extremely curious and cautious, and that the best is still to see their family physician or primary care provider or specialist.
In a new survey of 5,000 Canadians, around half said they'd consulted with either Google AI or ChatGPT for health information. But the survey also found those following AI health advice were 5 times more likely to report health-related harms compared to those who didn't.
The harms tend to be delay in diagnosis or side effects from the treatment.
I think it's pretty good at some things, but there are some inaccuracies.
Some are concerned patients are turning to AI chatbots because of the shortage of family doctors. In fact, more than half who got information online said they had to because a walk-in clinic or doctor weren't available. But experts say an AI can confidently state something untrue and lacks a full patient history.
AI doesn't know them as a full person in their context, whereas I do as a family doctor. I know that they actually had this other symptom last year that they forgot to mention to AI.
And it turns out many are skeptical of AI responses. Only 1 in 4 in the survey say they trust it to provide accurate health information. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Here's what's happening in traffic now at Main and Broadway. We have no issues to tell you about in this part of the city. It looks good so far this morning. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.31. The provincial average is $1.22. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.21. And the lowest price in the city is $1.12. All this information is on gasbuddy.com. Today is National Guitar Day, so our question of the day was, what song or who comes to mind when you think of the guitar? Addie says Prince was the greatest guitar player of all time. Sheldon thinks of his son, who is 12 and practices on his Fender every chance he gets. Eddie Van Halen, the Georgia Satellites, Johnny Cash, and Hendrix are Marlene's favorites. John shared No Sugar Tonight, the Guess Who. While My Guitar Gently Weeps by Jeff Haley, said a Your Morning viewer. Lamont thinks of the song Layla by Eric Clapton. For Kim, Keith Urban is by far one of the most talented guitar players ever. The song that comes to mind when I think of the guitar is the song by My Guitar by Zahara, shared Lillian. Mark texted, when I think of the guitar, I think about Tommy Hunter. I used to watch his show. Lindsay thinks of her late father. He taught her how to play 30 years ago, and she still has the first acoustic he bought her that day. Sandy's mind immediately goes to Stevie Ray Vaughan when thinking of guitars, but also wanders over to Prince and Eric Clapton. Too many to name, she says. And Susan likes Sting with November Rain. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's been spending the day in the kitchen this morning, telling us all about Chow Magazine's Dine About Winnipeg. Good morning.
Good morning, and I'm going to speak directly to the individual person watching this right now. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. I want you to clap your hands for me because I'm wearing white. And I don't spot any stains on my shirt.
Good job.
Thank you. I can hear the studio. Appreciate you all. Lori Hughes is joining us once again. Chow Magazine's Dine About Winnipeg. And Lori, this province has the best restaurants in the country. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, we punch well above our weight with restaurants. In fact, I think Winnipeg is one of those underrated restaurant cities across the country.
And with what we're looking at right now, you can even speak to the diversity of it. Everything from the fish options, vegetarian, and even right out of the PEIC.
Absolutely. And one of the things that makes Winnipeg's restaurant scene so vibrant and exciting is that we've got chefs that are not only talented, but they're using such high quality ingredients that our province produces, and they're drawing from their heritage, their backgrounds from all over the world, because we are enviable with our cultural diversity. And so as a result, we get these plates that are often a little twist on the traditions that they came from. And we saw that this morning. So it's very much warranted that we get excited about Winnipeg's restaurant scene.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to trends, you know it all, right? You see it all, I should say. What have you noticed?
Well, a lot of things, and sometimes trends contradict each other, but there are some exciting trends, and one of them is very much on display with our Dine About Winnipeg program this year and every year, really, and that is people are really leaning into and looking for experiences. So things that are out of the ordinary, things that feel special, and at its core, that's what the Dine About menus are all about. Special three-course meals that are packaged for diners to try a restaurant and their favorite signature dishes.
There's plenty of local, high quality and delicious eats on the Dine About Winnipeg menu, or I guess menu of various restaurants. Head to a link on our website for more details.
Thank you, Ainsley. It's a good day to have a snack, Terry. We've got some snacks here in the studio, a little bit of candy.
Those are always the best days.
I know. It's been so fun this morning.
That's why our energy is so high on days like today.
Yeah, so good. And
it's also why you're going to hear me smacking a little bit because I was just chewing on a little something.
It looks good outside, though. A little bit of fog.
Yeah, there has been a little bit of fog, and it's looked so cool. It doesn't look as cool anymore. It was cooler when the sun was just rising above the fog. Now that it's higher up, well, it just looks like that. Meh. Anyway, minus 16, but it feels like minus 23 with south-southeast winds 13 clicks, the pressure falling and the humidity at 87%. And around the province, you can expect that it will be still a very mild day. Temperatures will be on the rise to well above what you would expect. It's minus 30 right now in Churchill, feeling like minus 40s, but minus 12 is where you're headed later today. So you too will experience that warm-up. High minus single digits through the rest of the northeast, low minus single digits through northwestern Manitoba. This is what I'm saying. Across the entire province, everybody is in for these above normal temperatures, just barely below the freezing mark throughout the southwest. We won't be quite that mild today, but we'll certainly be getting closer. Minus 9, a normal daytime high, and instead we're headed up to a high of minus 4 this afternoon. We will enjoy some sunshine first. That fog has to burn off, but once it does, it'll look a whole lot brighter later on into the afternoon. And further to the east of us, northwestern Ontario, also enjoying that sunshine and the mild temperatures. Knowing it's going to continue to warm up throughout the rest of the week, you got to brace yourself for a messy week. Temperatures will be up around the freezing mark. The lines, that's fog. You can expect that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So a little bit foggy throughout the weekend, but remaining mild even into the start of next week. We're taking a break, but we'll see you right after this with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Open late, ready when you are.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning. The growth of Manitoba's film industry has sparked a new partnership aimed at further developing film professionals in our province.
The idea is that we're going to use the Film Training Manitoba location to hold various programs, including our first one this coming weekend with a very prominent cinematographer, Iris Ning.
Film Training Manitoba is joining forces with the Canadian Society for Cinematographers. The two organizations are launching a CSC hub right here in Winnipeg. They plan to host skill-building workshops and other events for people working in film and television in hopes of attracting even more productions to Manitoba.
I think that this puts us in a position where we're going to be able to accelerate the development of our local crew members, our cinematographers, and this level of support, investment, sharing business intel is going to put us in an excellent position so we can work more collaboratively with our national partner.
Film Training Manitoba says this will be the CSC's first hub on the prairies. It has other centers in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver. From gowns, scrubs, sheets, and bedspreads, each hospital has medical linens. But when these items get old and need replacing, thousands of pieces of medical linens are usually sent to landfills. The Winnipeg Regional Health Authority and Shared Health have taken a different approach and have sent 64,000 pieces of linen to Africa, where they are greatly needed and will be used in medical settings there. Joining us now to tell us more about this effort are Patrick Sabourin, the WRHA's Director of Regional Healthcare Linen Services, and Leah Cote with Shared Health. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, when we think about medical linens, really, there's so many different you can find in a hospital setting. Describe them. What are they exactly?
Well, usually you have gowns patient wears, terry linen, so hand towels, bath towels, and then some of the bed linens, so flannels, warming spreads, pillowcases, and then we have some of the surgical items as well, such as surgical gowns, wraps, so quite a variety of items. So in total we have over 150 skewed items.
Wow, and they're vital. You need them in the medical setting.
Absolutely.
You can't go without them. And so what led to the place that you were in where you found yourself with so many extra linens all of a sudden?
So part of our transition to a smaller warehouse, we had to look to reduce our footprint significantly. So we were looking at our inventory and we assessed that we had a large amount from the pandemic that we purchased, as well as our legacy inventory that was through the consolidation of Selkirk Laundry Facility. So that was gowns, blankets, bedspreads, and scrubs.
Okay.
And then we had to look at all viable options. So what do we do with these items? And that's the point where I connected with Leah in regards to, is there a way that it doesn't end in the landfill? And we had quite a short timeline around, so we had to work quite quickly.
Okay, and so what idea did you come up with?
Well, after contacting several different organizations, we found our partnership with Hope and Healing International. And so within 2 weeks, we were able to turn around and send all these linens to facilities. First in Toronto, we sent through shipping container there, and then they shipped them on to Cameroon in Africa. To hospitals there.
And how did you know that they needed the help? It's the organization you're talking about? They
Correct.
know who needs what and what's happening out there?
Yes, so they have the partnership, and so they provided that opportunity where we were able to connect with them, and they had those connections where people have already reached out and said what they've needed. So they've taken the need or the materials and matched the need with that. So
we're talking 64,000 pieces. That's a lot. So when they're being shipped, it must have been good for the landfill here. It's not going in the landfill, but also for people in Africa. What sort of response did you get from them?
Right, so we were able to get some feedback, and they were just overwhelmed and very grateful because now they were able to take these materials, reuse them, and help people in need. So it was saving items from the landfill, but also providing that support for those hospitals over there.
Right, so knowing this now, how are you going to move forward with this information?
Well, I think this is a great start to a very strong collaborative partnership where anytime that we see opportunities where I have extra linens, then we could reach out to our local community and then provincially, nationally, and then look at international as well. So it really puts the emphasis on that strong collaborative approach between WHA and Shared Health and how it's important to look at these opportunities so that 19 tons of linen does not end up in the landfill.
And it's still usable. It was still in pretty good shape. What happens with the ones that are not usable? You have no choice, I guess.
Yeah, so if it's cotton based, we usually rag them out. So and at that point they could be sold to companies that use them for painting or whatnot. And then for the ones that are cotton polyester, yes, unfortunately we have to throw them in the landfill, which is not the best thing for us as we try to promote to be as green as possible. Right. And that's great to have that collaboration with Shared Health.
That is amazing. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. And if you want more information, of course, we have a link on our website as well. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, still dealing with the fog that's going to hang over the city for probably the next hour or so. Eventually, it will burn off. We'll see some sunshine behind it. For now, it's looking a little bit gray, sitting at -16. It feels like -23 once you're factoring in that breeze, but it is on the lighter side out of the south-southeast, just 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity sitting at 87%. So yes, a little bit gray for now, but brighter as the day goes on. We'll see that increasing amount of sun all across southern Manitoba. For northern Manitoba, you're probably going to deal with those heavier clouds and maybe even a bit of scattered snow, but even right up into the north, above seasonal temperatures are expected, and it's only going to continue to warm up now throughout the rest of this week. Today, headed to a high of -4, -9 is a normal daytime high, and you can see our overnight lows are a lot closer to those daytime highs than seasonal lows that would have us dropping down to -19. So staying above seasonal throughout the rest of this week, but it's not necessarily going to stay sunny, with some heavier clouds moving in for tomorrow and maybe even some heavier fog as we're looking ahead through the coming weekend. Taking a break right now, but stick around. We're coming back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S&Teak Spa Salon.
Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew has issued a statement on the mass shooting that took place yesterday in Tumbler Ridge, BC. In a post on social media, Kinew said, quote, "Our thoughts are with the people of Tumbler Ridge, the students, families, educators, and first responders facing an unthinkable tragedy." He added, quote, "Schools should always be places of safety and care. Manitoba stands with our friends and relatives in British Columbia as they grieve this heartbreaking loss." Now we're going to show you some fun video before we say goodbye. We kick things off with a fun photo challenge. The goal is to not be in the picture. One person is blindfolded with a camera and the others are to dodge out of frame. The results are hilarious and have gone viral with almost 18 million views. It's awesome.
Actually, that's funny.
Yeah. And then finally, a cute crooning kitty.
Hold me close and hold me. The magic spells you.
Little Leo loves lounging and singing with his human. Here they are doing a duet of the song La Vie en Rose, and he hits his part perfectly. He's sweet. And now we're going to show you a time lapse of our live eye this morning.
It was gorgeous.
Yes, it was gorgeous. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.